E-A-G-L-E-S. Eagles.
And welcome in, everybody, to a Monday edition of Birds 365 here on JAKIB Sports. I'm your host, Zander Krause. That's my co-host, John McMullen. A little overreaction Monday for you today after the Eagles blow the biggest lead of the Nick Sirianni era. A 21-0 lead ended in disaster. They lose 24-21 after going 40 straight minutes of gameplay with 0 points and 24 unanswered Dallas Cowboy points. Johnny Mac, how you doing on this Monday morning, my friend?
Overreaction Monday. Let's do it. You know, you rarely get a loss around here. So when you do, it's generally Chicken Little time. The sky is falling. Last time this happened was the Giants game, I guess, right? The first Giants game when they lost. And that was sort of a mini bye. I always think it's good to get back on the field when you lose as soon as possible. You never want to play on a short week, but it's a short week. Black Friday, Chicago Bears. Bigger game than we all expected with Chicago finding a way to win every week. They didn't play well. They barely squeaked it out against the New York Giants. So good matchup for the Eagles to get right back out there. Now, the difficulty is you had so many injuries in the secondary. You don't want a short week from that perspective because they're going to be hampered in the secondary. But so there's some good give and take. For the game yesterday, I mean, we've seen it, you know. It's like this is the most confounding offensive team of all time. I mean, they look dominant in the first three drives. They look unstoppable. And then they have these lulls and they can't do anything and they shoot themselves in the foot, negative plays and penalties and yada, yada, yada. It's confounding, really is. But one thing that has been consistent is they can't run the football. And I don't know anybody saw that coming into the season. This is kind of what I feared last year. With Saquon coming over from the Giants, this is the Giants Saquon. This is what I feared last year. Not to this level, but this is what I feared last year. And then he got behind the Eagles' offensive line, and whoosh, the rest is history.
And when you mean not hitting holes, things of that nature?
Yeah, exactly. And just being a good back, not a great back, and just, you know, it never living up to his expectations of what he was and what people thought he was. And he certainly did that last season. This season, it has been an absolute slog every week practically. I think 10 of 11 games where it's just been underwater. And you know, Tank Bigsby gets one carry, so that's all you can look about it. But you know, Tank's getting a carry here, a carry there. And all of a sudden you see this juice, this explosion that's not there with Saquon. Now he claims he's healthy.
You saw a stark contrast between him and Javonte Williams, who is not an electric runner.
Yeah.
But he hits the hole when he's got to. I mean, he gets to 3-4
He hits the hole and he moves the pile.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And I don't want to even hear him in the same conversation. You see Gibbs yesterday? My God. That's what you had last year. That's what you had last year.
Yeah.
That's gone. And, you know, maybe he can recapture it in the off season, but I don't think you're going to capture it this season. So it's been more of a slog, and it's going to continue to be one because they're inconsistent in the passing game. Now, there's a lot of good in the passing game. I think, you know, overall, I think that's one of the best games Jalen Hurts has played. I know that's weird to say, but I mean, what did he do wrong except take that sack late, which I thought was bad situational football.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much he did wrong.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I said that completely on the postgame show. The only spot I would look there would say you are the quarterback of the team, and sometimes you gotta Willis, you know.
Well, who does that more than him?
Well, I get it, but I mean, 40 minutes, John. But look, this is what I say. There's no team in the league there where if they didn't score for 40 minutes, I would completely not point to the quarterback at all. The quarterback bears responsibility, just like we always say. When it's good, he gets all the credit. When there's no points for 40 minutes, I think he's got to take some of that. But I do agree with you in the sense that he had a good game. I thought he looked great.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, like the running game was back, the quarterback running game. Maybe they should have got that involved more in the second half. He had 2 touchdowns on the ground. I mean, the completion percentage, the yardage, that's what everybody wants. It's there. It was there. And it's
the only thing I don't love about that, and I get where you're going with it, where, you all of a sudden you pass the ball and you lose the game. I mean, we also passed the ball and built a 3-touchdown lead. No, I'm not saying
I wasn't going down that route at all.
It's like they had a 3-touchdown lead. I mean, that play style worked for the first quarter, for the first quarter and a half. So I don't really think John.
Well, I wasn't going there at all. But the most interesting part to me was the disconnect over the 5-man fronts after seeing people talk about it.
That's
which is Landon Dickerson, Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni. But basically, Jalen to me gave the most logical explanation.
Agreed.
And Landon, I don't know where that came from. Well, like, first of all, 50 fronts are common in the modern NFL. Bear fronts are common in the modern NFL. So, even if you didn't expect that coming in, and that's been a big thing with the Eagles' unscouted looks. Well, they got Quinnen Williams. That's why they're doing it.
Right. As Jalen Hurts explained, that was a perfect. He's like, well, they just got better players in the interior. They're trying to get them all on the field. I'm like, yeah, that makes complete sense.
And they only had him for 1 week, and they used a bunch of bear fronts in Las Vegas. So, I mean,
that's preparation. That's coaching, no?
Well, I mean, you would have to put it on the guy nobody wants to put it on. I mean, I'm sure you can put it on Patullo and everybody, but that's Stalin.
Yeah, that's Stalin.
So, and hey, I don't believe it. Number one, I don't know where the disconnect is, but look, they played it last week, and they have Quinnen Williams now, and obviously they were paying a lot of attention to Quinnen Williams, and obviously Jalen was aware, and Nick just sort of coach speak. You never get anything from Nick,
right?
So, I mean, Jalen to me was the most credible, and he knows he knew what was going on as a quarterback. So Landon Dickerson should know what's going on. So that's kind of how I took that, but I didn't think that was a good sign at all.
I think it's fair to at this point to say Jeff Stalin has not had a good year. I mean, he's the run game coordinator. They can't run the ball to save their life. And he's the offensive line coach. The offensive line wasn't ready for a 5-man front versus the Dallas Cowboys, who just traded for another defensive tackle. Their 3 best players on defense are the 3 guys in the middle. I mean, Kenny Clark, Quinnen Williams, and Osa Odighizuwa, or whatever his name is. And he had the big sack at the end, obviously. I mean, those are good football players. Now they got some other players, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. And they played, if they didn't play that last week, if this is their first game with Quinnen, I would accept it. But bottom line is what I think it is the Eagles dominate when they get those combo blocks, and they can't get combo blocks against bear fronts because it's 5-on-5, and all of a sudden it's man-to-man. And Jordan Mailata talked about this weeks ago because they've had problems with these looks before. So I think it's more of an execution problem, and I know people hate that. But it's certainly not rare. It's certainly not new. Now, it might be new in Dallas, because they've typically been a 4-man front team, a lot of zone coverage with Eberflus, even going back to Zimmer for a long time. They certainly haven't done it much until they got Quinnen Williams, but they did it a bunch last week, and you have to realize coming in. So I can't say 100% it's not on the coaches, but I find it very hard to believe that Jeff Stoutland isn't aware that they played a bunch of 5-man fronts against the Raiders, and all of a sudden Quinnen Williams shows up, and they're going to stop, and they go, oh, let's keep Osa on the bench. Let's keep Kenny Clark on the bench. So number one, and again, these guys aren't under oath. People.
What did you think of the decision to pass on that 3rd and 2 there?
I have no problem with that because you couldn't run the ball at all. You had a running back of 10 carries and 22 yards. I have no problem throwing the football. AJ didn't get open. I didn't, I don't know what the progression was from there.
That's what it looked. I can't speak, but I mean, I don't know, but it looked like it was AJ. They were looking for AJ.
Oh yeah, clearly, the first the first option was AJ, and he just didn't get open.
Yeah.
Now, again, from that point and how it breaks down, then at 13 yards, when you're back that far, that's unacceptable. But sometimes guys aren't open, and we'll get a better look later in the week with the all 22. But maybe the second or third progression was there. Tough to tell with the TV copy.
Yeah, it looked like Goddard was there, but I'm not going to play that game because I hate when people do that and they're like, "Yeah, you should have thrown it here." I'm like, dude, you have no idea what's going through that quarterback's head at that given time. So, fair enough, John. We got to talk about obviously the elephant in the room here, which was the penalties. They had 14 of them for 96 yards. They had more penalty yards than they did rushing yards in the game.
By far.
That's just an insane number, John. 14 penalties in the game. I think it's the most since Nick Sirianni's first ever game as a head coach. It's not even an undisciplined team. I mean, you got all sorts of formational penalties. You got pre-snap penalties. You got false starts. You had a penalty on Pryor that wiped off a big play. All sorts of brutal penalties.
Yeah, by the way, another thing I hate about the NFL, sorry to interrupt you, like that's not on Matt Pryor. Like those formational, when offensive linemen report, when you hear, because you've seen that a couple of times, Dan Skipper most notably, fail to report or fail to make it clear when they have to sort of brush their jersey, that's on the offensive lineman. It's on when they report, that's on the receiver, and I don't know who was on that side to make sure they're not uncovered, but cover them up. But the penalty is always called on the. It's like this league creates so much misunderstanding because of how they label things. It's like, I fumble same way. It could be the running back and an RPO blowing the handoff, but it goes on the quarterback's record no matter what. That's when you see somebody who reports eligible and there's a penalty on that player, unless he didn't report, that's the wide receiver fuck up. Because I heard a number of people say, Matt Pryor's an idiot. No. Not at all. And the wide receivers are the ones who understand that, who play all the time. That's on them. But either way, it's sorry to interrupt. It's a disastrous penalty either way. And that was a 20-yard game. They were really moving the football. That was that nice little play to Dallas Goedert. And they would have had a 1st and 10 at the Dallas 40. And it's wiped out because somebody can't line up correctly.
And then they're behind the sticks and they're punting after that. John, what's your perspective on that? 14 penalties in the game, kind of from an overall point of view. What do you take of that? If you're Nick Sirianni, how do you kind of respond to that this week on a short week at practice? Obviously, it's not something you can let fly. I mean, I don't think you're going to win many football games when you're taking 14 freaking penalties for 96 yards, especially at the times where they came. What do you make of it?
Well, it's not good. I mean, the pre-snap penalties are the biggest problem. There's some,
it's been a problem all year, though, hasn't it?
Yeah. Those negative plays. Now, when you're on the road and you're playing, like I said yesterday on the postgame show, if you're playing Myles Garrett or Micah Parsons, you're going to occasionally get a false start on the road, as you're trying to jump out. But, there's different. So you have to look at each one as far as other stuff, PIs and, the Devontae OPI and Tyler Steen got caught for holding. Sometimes they miss them, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's good call, sometimes it's not. But to me, the pre-snap penalties are the ones that are just killers. And when they're obvious, and most of them were obvious, the only one I can think of that maybe you can complain about is the Jurgens false start where they said he jerked his head or something. That was a little bit of a, what are you doing type of call. But most of them are just, shooting yourself in the foot. And boy, there's illegal formations, especially. Those drive coaches crazy.
Yeah.
Because that's all you do is practice that shit and lining up and that and but at the same time it keeps happening. It's getting worse. It got worse. Dallas is a big place, a loud place, but again, not the most difficult place to play these days because you have so many of your fans in there because the building is so large.
Yeah, and I heard a lot of people put that out there too, that the Eagles fans were all over that place.
Yeah.
You heard it on the Coop tackle. Coop.
Yeah.
So like burnt outside.
It's not like you have some of these places where, Detroit, it's so loud, maybe you're going to get Detroit, if you're playing against Aiden Hutchinson in Detroit, maybe you're going to get a false start occasionally, and you got to live with it. And by the way, you can also overcome it too. The fact that this team and this offense is 1st and 15 shouldn't be a death sentence, but it is. Plenty of teams overcome it. Too often, I should say it is. And they just don't. They get a negative play, and you might as well, Braden Mann might as well get off the bench because he's coming in.
No doubt. John, I want to talk about the turnovers. The Eagles lose the turnover battle for the first time in quite a bit. And what happens? They lose the game. Coincidence? I think not, but I will add more context. Both turnovers the Eagles had in the football game, while I do feel like many people thought they were potentially a turning point or a big point, the Cowboys failed to score on both turnovers.
Yeah.
They got the ball inside the 10 on the Gibson fumble, which was just ridiculous that he even fielded that from the 2-yard line. The Cowboys got 0 points. They didn't even kick the field goal. They got stuffed at the goal line. Same with the Saquon fumble. They did not get any points off of the Saquon fumble. So I get it. You lost the turnover battle. You lost the game. But they really didn't contribute to the outcome, in my opinion.
No, and they didn't lose it. It was even. The problem is they didn't win.
Takeaways? I thought
yeah, two and two.
Okay.
But you're right. They didn't, the defense, I said in a weird way, and obviously Dan pushed back on me. It's like I came out of the game saying, and I know the numbers. If you just look at numbers, it doesn't look good. But I don't think the defense played that poorly. I really don't. And I get
it, but I also get Dan's perspective. 24 straight unanswered points, almost 500 yards of offense. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I get it.
I didn't think they played bad either. I didn't think they were the reason they lost.
I get it, but that's the point. That's kind of the point. It's about giving up points. 473 yards. Typically, you have more than 24 points, and they would have had much more than 24 points if they could cash in on some of those short fields,
right, or
get some of those 4th downs. I think they were 0 for 2 on 4th down. So the Cowboys were 0 for 2. The Lions were 0 for 5. So they're on quite the run of 4th down defense. And when you get the Gibson fumble was catastrophic at the time, or at least you thought. They're inside the 10.
Yeah.
Got nothing. That's what I'm saying when I say I can't sit there and say, well, that was a terrible defensive performance. Basically they couldn't handle one guy, Pickens, and they couldn't handle him. That's fair.
That guy is amazing, man.
And Javonte Williams had a nice game. I'm not, but it wasn't backbreaking. One guy killed them. Now there were some CD drops again.
I mean,
that may have made it worse, but that's packaged into everything. I mean, bottom line is they only gave up. They gave up. If you, I had them losing 28-27 for I thought Dallas was going to score some points, and I thought they'd score a little bit more. They ended, for 21 points through 59 minutes and 50 seconds is pretty good against that offense, especially at home where they're averaging 35 points coming in.
Yeah.
I know.
I
It's
get
not
it.
good enough. I'm not saying Vic Fangio's going in there. Good job, guys. He doesn't say good job, guys, when they dominate the Super Bowl.
I think there were bigger reasons for the loss than the defense.
Yes.
I agree with that completely.
I mean, he was a guy complaining about the Super Bowl because they gave up too much in the second half.
Right.
Yeah, he's not happy, but I'm just saying, I think there were bigger issues. And then also when later in the game, when they started losing guys in the secondary, it became much more difficult. Which, we'll have to see with the injuries and how quick. Obviously, Adori's probably not going to play on a short week, but that shouldn't be long term, I wouldn't think. Although it's multiple concussions, so maybe it is.
Man, that
Who knows?
looked bad. Like he almost knew right away.
Yeah, he
See
did.
his reaction on the field, and sometimes concussions aren't that way. You hit your head and you're a little woozy or something. Like he knew right away. He hit his head hard.
Yeah, he knew, and so it might be longer than a week.
I don't know what his history is of concussions. John, one other thing I want to talk about here. We're going to get Jeff Curran in a little bit. I don't see a fix for the run game in the near future, John, and that's the biggest problem plaguing this team right now. They cannot run the football. We talked about it a little bit at the open. 10 carries for 22 yards. It's one thing if you're down by 21 to have those type of numbers because you're not trying to run the football. You have a 3-touchdown lead in the game, 2-touchdown lead after halftime, and you got the ball after halftime. You have 10 carries for 22 yards. If you told me that before this game, I wouldn't have found a way to believe you. That feels unheard of. 10 carries for 22 yards with a 3-touchdown lead. What's going on in the run game? Is there a near fix? Do you see a fix? This, to me, looks like the biggest offensive problem that this team has.
Well, I think it is overreaching overall, but I think you look at it, and that's what Nick Sirianni said, which was basically, when he was talking about the 5-man fronts, it was basically, well, that's why we threw it so much early. So that does make some sense. If somebody's coming out in those 5-man fronts and they're trying to stop the run game and they're pretty successful,
right?
Because they have basically, again, that's Vic's whole philosophy. +1 in coverage. Everybody talks about the +1 on offense. There's a +1 on defense. And it's basically you want it in coverage because that makes it much more difficult. If you got to put it to either stop the run or rush the passer, you're down 1 in coverage. That's what nobody wants on the defensive side. So that's what they were taking advantage of early. And then later, then he went into scheme and how we execute it and the personnel groupings and blah, 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 which is a throwaway line for most people. But look, if somebody comes out in 5-man fronts, you should throw the ball.
That makes sense.
And that's what they did. But to me, it's not about 10. It's not about the number. I can't tell you how much I hate just people who pick up the box score and say, look at this number. It's just not.
Score. Saquon, we can't run the ball, dude.
No, I know. That part of it is that's what I'm trying to say. It's not about the number. It's about the efficiency when you are doing it. Because the number is circumstantial. Again, if it's a 4-man front, the number's higher. But it's the ineffectiveness when you do run it, 2.2 yards per carry, which is pretty damn ineffective. And obviously that's, Saquon took accountability. He's saying he basically is having a bad year and all blah, blah, blah.
What's up with the cleats, dude? It feels like every time the guy puts his foot on the ground to make a cut, he slips out. I mean, I must have seen 15 slips this year from Saquon Barkley.
Well, it shouldn't be an issue there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Retire those damn cleats, dude. You need different cleats. Every time he puts his foot on the ground, he's slipping. Even by the way, even on the play that preceded the 3rd and 2, it was a dump off from Jalen Hurts on 2nd down. He could have easily gotten the 1st down. Even Kevin Burkhardt even said it. Looked like he would have got the 1st down if he didn't slip there. And then they had 3rd and 2. They get sacked. Cowboys get the ball back, and the rest is history.
Well, if it were that simple, I think they'd fix it. I think.
I hear you. I just don't know what the hell is going on. Every time he cuts, he slips. I'm just going
off. And obviously, that's always a bigger deal when you're playing outside, bad weather, wet, rain, whatever. That could be a big deal. Indoors, it shouldn't be a problem at all. He did slip. I mean, people slip, especially explosive people when they're trying to, get going a little bit too early. He's just having a bad year.
Really bad. Really bad.
It's
not like he's not getting his touches, by the way. He was 4th in the NFL in carries coming into that game. I don't know what he is after week 12.
He actually did a pretty good job as a receiver. I think that's the best he's looked as a receiver all year.
Yeah, but where else he's so bad, and it was glaring yesterday? The pass blocking. And it wasn't glaring because he had a big bad moment. It's because I watched Javonte Williams pick up multiple times, an extra block, and gave Dak an extra second to get the football. One of the big throws to George Pickens down the field, Javonte Williams laid a body into Nolan Smith, gave Dak an extra second, and boom, massive completion downfield. Saquon sucks at that, dude.
He has not had a good year in pass protection. He's been worse in pass protection than he has been running the football. To the point a couple weeks ago, they started playing Will Shipley a little bit more, who isn't exactly, great in pass protection either. So, he's not having a good year.
No doubt. John, one more topic I want to get to. We got Jeff Kerr in the green room. Jeff Kerr coming up in a little bit here on Birds 365. John, does it feel like this coaching staff is failing to make adjustments in game? I know you hate halftime adjustments, but adjustments are ongoing. And I don't think this coaching staff has showed an ability to adjust in game to what they are seeing. And maybe you heard a little bit of that from Landon Dickerson yesterday, who said, yeah, we just, we got to be more ready for it, basically.
You see, I think that's more, I think Landon's quote is more about preparation, but even so, I don't admit, because the quarterback
to adjust to something if you're not prepared for it. If you're prepared for it beforehand, it's easier to adjust.
Well, this is like the thing with the 9th grade offense or whatever, and that like they don't know what a crossing route is. Like, does that hold any water to anybody? Like in the modern NFL,
it does. Yeah.
In the modern NFL, you're perplexed by a bear front, by a 50 front? Really? They've never seen 50 fronts before? Really? Anybody buy that? They sure as hell saw it in Minnesota when they had a perfect passer rating. That's all they did. And sometimes 6-man fronts. Like what are we talking about? I mean, with stuff like that. Like I said, this offense, out of necessity, by the way, because they can't run the football. If you want to count just adjustments, they've done much more adjusting in game this year than last season, because they didn't have to adjust. They just beat the brakes off people last year, for the most part, once they got past week 5. And this year it's been more of a slog, so they had to adjust. The whole point of that before Lane got hurt, the big Fred packages, that's an adjustment. The stuff in the red zone, which has largely been really good, those are adjustments. Look, I'm just saying, it doesn't, if you really think about it, it doesn't pass the smell test from a logic standpoint. Now, have they been effective? No, that's the problem.
All right, well, hear me out on this, all right? And I get what you're saying. Eagles go touchdown, 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 moving the ball at ease. Looked like the best offense we were going to see all year with the way they started the game. After that, they go 3 plays, -2 yards punt. 1 play, 1 yard, end a half. 3 play, 3 yards punt. 6 play, 18-yard punt. 3 plays, 7 yards punt. 7 plays, 30 yards, missed field goal. 6 plays, 33 yards fumble. 5 yards, 17 yards punt. Now, I get it. There's a lot of penalties in there. There's a lot of context to that. But do you think Dallas made an adjustment to go from 3 straight touchdowns given up to 7 or 8 straight drives that were point-free for the Eagles? I mean, is there no adjustment? Are you telling me that they don't have anything?
Well, I think it's a perfect example of Matt Eberflus is the most static guy you're going to see in the modern NFL. You know, to the point I said at the end of the game when they got the ball at 21-21 and they're on the goal line and he's playing those soft zones and they start out really well with the AJ pass on the corner. And I'm like, all right, they can nickel and dime this and go win the game. And they didn't affect most static guy in the NFL. Not an exaggeration. I could run down all 31 most static guy in the NFL. Did they make adjustments? No. No. They absolutely. He plays what he plays. He plays what he plays. Now he shifted from the personnel standpoint with the 5-man fronts because of he got Quentin Williams. But as far as the coverage goes, that dude is literally the most static guy in the NFL. He's like an old school cover 2 guy, which is just line up and play. And everybody, I used to joke with Tony Dungy back in the day, you know, where he's lining up everybody in March. Same thing. Now, won a Super Bowl with it. Had some of the greatest defenses in the modern era with it because it's more about executing. It's more about having good players. It's more about everybody knows you can take a hole shot in cover 2 or you can take a seam shot in cover 2. But if Derek Brooks is carrying the guy down the field, it's a lot more difficult than it's Jeff Kerr and John McMullen.
Yeah. Speaking of Jeff Kerr, let's go to him. Good opening segment, everybody. I want to thank everybody for being here. Hit the like button. All super chats will be read a little bit later on in the program, so continue to put them in there. We will get all the takes from the great people. Hit the like button here. Drop your comments down below and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're not already. This is your #1 place for Eagles news on YouTube. Appreciate you being here. Let's bring Jeff Kerr in right now here on Birds 365. You can follow him at Jeff Kerr PHL on X. Jeff, welcome to the program, man. Appreciate you joining in on a Monday. The Eagles collapsed, their biggest collapse of the Sirianni era, and lose a 21-point lead and fall 24-21 to the Dallas Cowboys in Arlington. How you doing this morning, Jeff Kerr?
I hear the season's over, so what do I know?
Season's over.
Season's over after 1 loss. Boy, I got some news for some people. I really do. Watch the 95-96 Eagles sometime. I'm going history. Watch Rich Kotite. Then you'll see bad seasons. Like it's again.
They're 8-3.
Well,
shit happens.
Fair enough, but let me ask you this: are we not who we thought we were? Because there are a lot of people who I think living off of the 24 season where we dominated all the way through the Super Bowl. You know, people thought we were that at 8-2. We don't lose. I don't think we're that team this year. Now, can we go the distance? Sure. Can things fall your way in the playoffs? Sure. But I don't think this team is as good as we were a year ago or really even close.
Well, last year's team was one of the best teams ever, if you listen to the running back, and he wasn't wrong on that. So, yeah, it's hard to win back-to-back Super Bowls. It is. And, look, this is when I thought they really were going to lose the game. And the defense, give them the credit, all the credit in the world. They bailed them out on this. Xavier Gibson should not be on this football team this week.
Come on.
I'm done with it.
That's why he's here. Because he used to make those dumb decisions with the Jets. That's why he's here.
Yeah. Why don't we use Britton Covey? We brought Britton Covey back. He was great on punts.
I don't know. It's a really good question. Yeah. Like, I got frustrated. And again, people trying to explain the rules of football to me on that platform are laughable. I don't think it's ever a good idea
That
to ever
platform.
take a ball at the one. I don't
Agreed.
care if it's legal or not. It's a bad
Agreed.
idea. And he's done it twice in 3 weeks now. He's not a good football player. I'm not pinning this on Xavier Gibson, by the way. I haven't even gotten
They didn't even give
the
up
offensive line yet.
They didn't even give up any points off that turnover. But still,
I know that's what I said. I was like, man, give credit to the defense. They're standing tall right now. Like,
well, I will say in Xavier's defense, because few people will defend him. If you have a free play, take the free play. But yesterday was not.
It was not a free
play.
play. Yeah.
Yeah. The other one was a free play. Yeah, just take
this is my thing about the whole free play thing. And again, maybe this goes back to I don't trust NFL officials with my life.
Well, that's a fair point, but they'll get that. They'll get that.
I mean, look at the end of the game yesterday. Is this just me or did the ball not hit the scoreboard?
No, they explained that. That was the announcer screwing that up.
Yeah, well, I have a lot to say about them too.
They thought that the ball hit the scoreboard, but actually somebody ran out of bounds. I forget who it was.
It was Stanley Ringo, right?
I believe it was Ringo, but I'm not positive. But they called a penalty on him for running out of bounds. So the ball didn't hit they thought it did, but it didn't. That was just a mistake by the announcers, not the officials.
Yeah, that's a bad time to make a mistake in the game. But
yeah,
they did everything you could do to lose a football game after it was 21-0 yesterday.
Really
that's just how I felt. Like I thought they got a little conservative on offense, but even when they were aggressive, penalties took it back. They can't run the ball.
What do you do? Let me just say this: if you're up 21-0 in the NFL, right?
You
have Saquon Barkley. What do?
You run. They can't do it. They can't run blocks for them. And
John, that's what I asked you in the open, though, and you hit me with the 5-man fronts, which I think is a fair and valid explanation.
No, I brought up the 5-man fronts because of Landon's comments, which I thought were. But
I also said, I mean, how do you have 10 carries for 22 yards when you're up by 3 touchdowns in a football game? Doesn't make sense.
No. 0-0, it makes sense. 21-0, it doesn't make sense. Once you're up 3 touchdowns, then you try to close out the game by running the football.
What I said.
Now, to your point, though, if they keep doing it and they keep doing it, do some different things, and you got to execute. And as I said, there were little pockets where they were moving the football. At first series of the third quarter was the perfect example. They had a 1st and 10 at the Cowboys 40 after 2 plays. If somebody, and I don't know who it was, could line up correctly. But
was that the AJ Brown penalty?
Well, no, it was the Matt Pryor penalty, but I don't know who left him uncovered. That's never
okay, I know what play you're talking
the
about.
Illegal formation penalty.
Yeah.
I didn't see who left it, who this. Unfortunately, because of the NFL, the way they do things, that penalty is always reported as the offensive lineman. If you're an extra offensive lineman and you get called for an illegal formation, unless it's you didn't report, it's not your fault.
I agree.
It's the receiver's fault, but they call it on the offensive lineman, and very few people understand that, which is the over legislation of this stupid sport that I constantly talk about. But the point was that was a great play, and the penalty had nothing to do with the play, but it got called back because somebody couldn't line up correctly.
Yeah. To me, right now, and again, I know you guys have probably talked about Patullo already. It just goes so much deeper than him at this point. I just think people are looking for the scapegoat right now. And
no question.
It's so much deeper than that. Like, I'll say it, this offensive line has been mid all season long.
Mid might be nice.
I don't know anymore. I know when I was covering the team as frequently as John has, Jordan Love would keep telling me 1 block away, and Cam Jurgens would say the same thing. It's more than that. They're not 1 block away.
I agree with that, and I know it's difficult for Jeff, but Saquon's not playing well either.
No, he's not. I've said it. And look, I wrote this countless times, and Saquon did not agree with me 100% on this. When you run for 2,000 yards in a season, you take a big step back. You do. No one has ever rushed for more than 1,400 yards in a season after a 2,000-yard season. And yet, Saquon.
Well, he claims he's healthy.
Maybe he is. I don't know, but he doesn't look the same.
He does not look the same.
I don't think Cam Jurgens looks very good, guys.
No, he doesn't.
Overall.
No. I think he's battling injury. I think Landon Dickerson's battling injury.
Is he? Is that what it is? Cam Jurgens hasn't been good this year from game number 1. Let's call a spade a spade. He was a great center last year. He has not been that player for one single game this year.
Well, how bad's the back? What's he hiding?
But I mean, he had the off season, so it's like, did he come in injured? Was he never going to return to the same player?
And people do not like to hear this stat, but it's going to come out. There is a reason why the Eagles have a 370 win percentage when Lane Johnson's not playing.
True.
Like, and that's nothing against Fred, but fine is not Lane Johnson.
Oh, no. Well, anybody who thought, I kind of laughed at people who thought that there wouldn't be a downgrade there.
We had a commenter last week say that.
No.
Fred Johnson, we're good. I don't know about that.
I like Fred Johnson's the 6th lineman. I like him playing for spurts.
Lane Johnson at 45 years old is probably better than your next best option.
He could play at 45 if he wanted to, Zander.
That is a no doubt about it Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And you got people say, well, we got Fred. I mean, come on.
That's like losing Devontae Smith. Oh, we got John. Okay, sure.
Guys, Jeff, I'll bring you here, all right, because the offense obviously had an awesome start to the game where they come out, they're throwing the ball. I thought Hurts was quick, decisive with the football. Ball was coming out. AJ was getting space and separation, making plays. They put up 21 straight points in 3 straight drives, and they're up 21-0. Now, I don't know if this is the right correlation here, but I'll ask you guys. He had 5 catches for
67 yards, right?
67 yards in the first couple drives there. They didn't go back to him again until the 4th quarter. Now,
I think it was scripted, personally. I thought that was,
I don't think it's all on AJ, but I think, there's this conception I saw on Twitter where it's like people are saying, this is why AJ, we can't placate to AJ. I'm like, I think AJ was right. You built a 21-point lead when you got AJ Brown involved. Now, the rest of the game.
AJ Brown had a great game yesterday, by the way.
Huh?
I thought he had a great game yesterday.
Yeah, until the 3rd and 2. Didn't get open.
Yeah, until the 3rd and 2 when he had the penalty.
That's the NFL. You're not going to get open on every play. I mean, that's just the nature of the beast, I feel, at least it feels like to me. He was open on all the other plays.
So on that 3rd and 2, John, let's rewind for a second. On that 3rd and 2, did you like how the route they had AJ Brown run?
It was a simple slant route. Trying to find him on the inside, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably what I would have done, but I'm not an NFL head coach, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, a 3rd and 2, AJ slant, yeah, that makes sense to me, dude. I can't criticize that.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I have an issue with on that sack Jalen took? The fact that he held on to the ball as long as
that's what bothered me. You can't take a 13-yard sack. I mean,
no, not there. Not there.
Ball's got to come out.
The other thing I don't like about that is why when you're 3rd and 2 in your own zone, why drop back that far in the first place? Like, you're making it hard. It's 3rd
you're not
and 2.
Supposed to. That's the point.
I actually thought Jalen was just going to call his own number, tuck it, and run and get the first down, and they keep going. And I was kind of surprised he didn't.
Yeah, maybe he should have. Maybe should have.
It's just, there's just
quarterback design run probably would have got
so many weird things happened in this game. Jake Elliott missing a field goal.
That's 56. I mean,
Aubrey missed one too.
Aubrey from 51 is bigger than that's a crazy miss because that's like falling to sleep.
I was ready for Aubrey just to hit the 60+ yarder.
So was I.
Yeah,
65 to win it.
I thought the Vic Fangio prophetic claim might come true in this game, and ultimately,
I was like, oh, here it is. It's going to be some miracle field goal, and it'll cap the miracle comeback.
It turned into an easy field goal because George Pickens gashed them again in the last minute with a 24-yard game.
And George Pickens is good. George Pickens is so good.
Oh my God, what a year he's having! I was talking about him all week.
Again, this is why I get on the Cowboys.
He's wide receiver one in Dallas.
Yeah, why do you trade Micah Parsons? Like this, you got George Pickens. I knew they'd be immediately better. So trade Micah Parsons. And look, I understand they got Quentin Williams, who was a monster yesterday and was a monster last week. I just don't know what goes on in the Cowboys' heads because it feels like they should be better.
Look, I hear you. Obviously, you don't want to get rid of Micah, but I'm of the belief that pressure and interior pressure on defensive lines has become more important in the NFL than pressure on the edge. And boy, that interior pressure they're getting with Kenny Clark, Quentin Williams, and Osa.
Osa's a good player too.
I mean,
yeah,
their defense is a lot better with that.
But there's a lot. I mean,
again, I'm not going to sit here and say you should have traded Michael Parsons. I'm just saying the context.
Pressure. I can't. Dan was trying to go down that route. That's what the Cowboys are trying to sell. I would say look at Micah Parsons in his game. Pressure's pressure. And if you have Micah Parsons,
look at what Myles Garrett's been doing, by the way.
Yeah. If you have Micah Parsons or Myles Garrett, you create pressure on the interior because everybody's shitting their pants because they're on the outside.
Like, isn't that the first thing you want to do? Isn't that what they teach you in football and Pop freaking Warner? First thing you got to do in a defense, stop the run game.
Yeah, all is stop the run, but he's not a bad run defender. That's bullshit.
No, but they couldn't stop the run when he was on the
bullshit.
Team. They didn't have the tackles though to stop the run. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell
you because they missed on Mozzie Smith. That ain't Mike Parsons.
The tackles now. That's all I'm saying. They've gotten the tackles now.
But you don't give up a Hall of Fame pass rusher to get some hit on your draft pick.
They're going to need that Hall of Fame pass rusher on Thursday because I keep hearing the Cowboys are in it, but they're 10th in the NFC, so I don't know.
Well, they're still in it because teams are going to lose. I mean, teams are those, the 7 seed teams aren't great. So but they have to keep winning. But, if they lost that game, they're out of it. They're in the conversation. Obviously going to need some help, but, it's not like
they need to win these next 2 games.
It's not like the 7 seed in the NFC. Who's the 7 seed right now?
The 49ers right now.
I mean, that ain't a good football team. And they have to play.
They play tonight. Do they play tonight?
They play Carolina tonight. Carolina wins. They're in first place in the NFC South.
Yeah, and that would help the Cowboys because that would push the Buccaneers down, and they're 6-5.
Exactly.
Put the Cowboys
they only got to jump over 2 teams. The problem with them is the Lions and the Bears. But the Lions and the Bears, and the Packers as well. Like the Packers are playing the Lions on Thanksgiving. Somebody's got to lose that game.
We got some good games on Thanksgiving this year.
I guess they could tie, but
Chiefs, Cowboys, Packers, Lions, and Ravens play on Thanksgiving.
Who do the Ravens play?
The Bengals.
Yeah. We'll see.
I don't care about the night game. I'll watch the 2 early games.
Yeah.
Well, the Packers Lions, that's good. That's a good
game.
I
can't wait for that. I can't wait for the second game. CBS scored big on that one.
Jeff, you come out and you score 3 straight, and then you go 40-plus minutes of gameplay with 0 points on the board.
41 minutes and 30 seconds to be exact.
Thank you for being so smart with this shit, Jeff. What do you put that on? I mean, that's almost unheard of. 40.
It's everybody.
41 41 minutes of an NFL game, you don't have a single point on the board?
It happens every week now, right? It just feels like there's a couple possessions where they get things right, and then all of a sudden they go to like these 4 or 5 possessions spurts.
They had it Tampa Bay. They had it against the Rams. They have had halves. Second half in Tampa, first half against the Rams, and then they had this half.
The Denver game, they got quiet. Denver's got really good defense too. But
yeah, they moved the football a little bit in the second half yesterday, and they kept shooting themselves in the freaking foot.
I thought toward the end of the game they were moving the football.
Oh my God, yeah. And they shot themselves in the foot every time. Every time.
They're down penalties or whatever. I mean, they had 14 penalties yesterday. 14. 7 were only offense.
Said that offensive pass interference. I don't know what the hell that was. It would look like he was in press coverage, and they called him because he was in press coverage. trying to get all press coverage.
Cooper DeJean's pass interference call was weird too.
Yeah, I agree with that.
John, I'm surprised you haven't gone on the rant. This is why Cooper DeJean can't play outside quarterback.
No, well, I think he can. I think the opposite is, people said, well, he can't play because George Pickens beat him. George Pickens is
really good.
George Pickens beat Quinion.
He took the football up his helmet like it was Randy Moss on one of those. What the fuck? Sometimes you got to tip your cap to the other guy.
I've been tipping my cap to the Cowboys all day yesterday. I was impressed with the comeback. I was. That doesn't happen often.
By nature, if somebody's taking the football off your helmet, you're in pretty good position in coverage.
In a way, it's going down 21-0 actually helped the Cowboys because then they could just throw the ball downfield all day.
Well, yeah, that's true too. But
Javonte
Williams, I'll tell you what, he's having a good season too.
He really is. He's 5th in the NFL in rushing yards, I think.
Penalties and run game, guys. That was why they lost the game. And the trenches. I thought they got dominated both sides of the trenches.
Oh, they did.
It doesn't happen very often, which, again, back to the Micah point. Again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you they should have traded Micah, but I don't know if they dominate the trenches like they do yesterday with Micah and no interior.
Oh, I think they do because Micah Parsons lines up against Fred Johnson.
Well, he would have destroyed him on the outside, but they got destroyed on the inside yesterday, Jeff. And that ruined.
They've been getting destroyed on the inside all year.
In the game yesterday, they could not run the ball at all, and that's why they scored.
I really wish the Eagles got Micah Parsons so I could see the shift. Just so I could see the shift.
I'm not disrespecting Micah. I don't know why you're going there. I'm not disrespecting.
But because there's so much disrespect for Micah Parsons in Philadelphia, and he is one of the few players the Eagles are fearful of. Because they have a bunch of hubris, as I said.
It's Micah Parsons and Myles Garrett. They're the two. By the way, Myles Garrett.
What's he up to?
13 sacks the last 4 games. Yeah, man, I'm not a betting expert, but man, I would have told anybody to pick the Browns yesterday. Anybody.
Oh man, Shedeur.
I said, don't even think about Shedeur. Just think of the Raiders' offensive line versus the Browns' defensive line, and you're gonna cook. And boy, the Browns had 10 sacks yesterday. Hey, the Browns are not terrible.
I like
not defensively. Jim is good, man.
Yeah. I think Stefanski's over. I mean, he's an idiot with the way I think he's handled that whole
2-time coach of the year. Look, if you don't have a quarterback, you can't play. Look at poor Kevin O'Connell. You can't play.
Dylan Gabriel could have moved the ball at all. You got Shedeur coming in, and you can't even give the kid credit. You can't even name him as your starter. He doesn't do anything for that guy. He didn't want to give him a fucking practice rep.
The guy,
stop running away from Shedeur.
No one gives him
and embrace it.
That happens around the league. Do you think?
You think
Sam
anybody
Howell's
wants
gonna
to?
practice
The first quarterback in Cleveland to win his first start in 30 fucking years. The coach couldn't even give him credit. It was egregious. Stupid.
That's not something to brag about.
Third string quarterbacks don't get reps. Jeff's right. They don't get reps. Second string quarterbacks don't get reps. They get like 10%, if that. Here's
the irony of it. I hate how polarizing Shedeur is because it's funny. As someone who would like to play, I could play with a guy like Shedeur. I like the way he talks. It's look, people expect this. People expect no. You rally behind a guy like that. You get excited to play behind a guy even if he's terrible.
I don't know about that. Nobody gets excited to play behind a terrible quarterback.
Well, I think Jameis Winston's terrible, and they love him.
Jameis Winston is a freaking marvel. That guy can fall out of bed and throw
he caught yesterday.
Jameis,
we got to talk about that.
That might have been the play of the year.
That was amazing, man.
Jameis Winston can throw for 4,000 yards. The problem is he turns the football over. Everybody knows Jameis Winston is talented. I'm talking about guys who flat out can't play. Dylan Gabriel.
Well, Dylan Gabriel can't play. We know that.
That's my point on Shedeur. I think he showed he does it. He's not in that category.
Well, he might be better. He might be better than Dylan Gabriel.
Just keep in mind, the Browns beat a team that just fired their offensive coordinator after 11 games and paid him $6 million a year.
That was Chip. We should mention Chip got. There
Wait,
goes that
we got
storyline.
to correct one more thing as you.
There goes that storyline, by the way. Chip Kelly back to Philadelphia.
We got to correct
to that one there, John.
Speaking of that, somebody DM me and they're like, "See, the Raiders fired their coordinator. Why can't we do this?"
Don't compare yourself to the
Like,
Raiders.
oh my God, 2-9. They're 2-9.
Thank you.
You have an 8-3 team. If you can't see the difference there, you just gotta tap out.
Yeah, the Raiders did it. Well, the Raiders might be firing Pete Carroll at this rate.
I know that is just
it's bad there. I didn't realize like how bad they were until I watched the Cowboys just absolutely destroy them on Monday night. I'm like, wow, the Raiders are bad.
Jeff, question for you: how much do you put yesterday's loss on the coaching staff offensively? You know, Nick and Kevin. I'm not trying to pinpoint on.
Both of them.
By the way, the Giants are firing Shane Bowen, so they're firing.
Oh, they are firing.
Okay.
Well, good for. When you again, I forgot to bring up this point. Brian Dable's not the head coach anymore, and they still had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter and lost. Yeah, you find out a lot of things sometimes after you. Yeah, it was. I mean, I thought the Giants were going to pull off one of the upsets of the year, and it didn't happen. But back to your point, Zander, you know, sometimes you just got to blame the players. Like, I get it. I get blaming Patullo. I completely understand, but
scapegoat him.
I rewatched this game. Guys are missing blocks. Saquon's not hitting the hole. And when he does hit the hole, he's not fast enough.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
How's that Kevin Patullo's fault? How's that Nick's fault? Oh, by the way, I heard Nick Sirianni should be fired too. Come on.
Oh, of course.
This fan base is so dumb. They think Andy Reid's a bad coach. I've lost it. Like, man.
I love when Jeff goes off, calls the fan base. That was Jeff, by the way. Send him your hate now.
Oh, I got plenty of hate already.
Man.
Heaven forbid I speak truth.
Well, it is. There's got to be some nuance to that conversation. I'm not sitting here telling you they got to be fired.
I'm not blaming anybody for blaming Kevin Patullo. They have a legit point.
They can make bad decisions.
They make bad decisions all the time.
Yeah. But here's the problem with me when you want to blame Kevin Patullo. The people that do it, especially on social media, that's all they do. Everything's Kevin Patullo. But now you got to have a deeper conversation than that. Why is Landon Dickerson missing blocks? Why is Cam Jurgens missing assignments? Why?
Cam got walked around multiple times.
They're all pro. They're Pro Bowlers, right? I don't know. Like, I'm not watching film like these guys are, but I rewatched the game today. I'm seeing it. Like, we just talked about Quentin Williams being an ass out of Cam Jurgens.
It's always players first. Saquon Barkley went from the most dangerous football player in the world last season to, can't get 4 yards of carry this season.
How many touches, John? 482 last year?
Yeah, 482.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
I always say this sport moves quickly.
I expected a drop-off this year. I did.
I don't really get how you can blame this game on coaching solely. I'm not sitting here saying they had a good game.
You can blame coaching.
To some extent, but like you had 14 fucking penalties on the players.
Yeah, here's my favorite. Let's call a timeout late in the game so we can just let Dak just beat you again.
Dak is.
I don't know what that timeout accomplished, but to me,
accomplished nothing.
To me, it didn't matter either way. I mean, they were going to run the clock down and they were going to try to win the game.
And then they were going to kick. But I'd rather take my chances with a 65-yard kick with a guy who missed a 51-yarder.
Sure. But that's about execution. That's about giving up the play. You don't have to give up the play just because they call timeout.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't mean you're giving up the play. I love how people assume, like, well, if you don't call timeout there, Dallas is not going to make a play. Well, why not? Yeah. They might make a play because you're not ready. I mean,
special teams had 4 penalties yesterday, John.
Oh yeah, You watch
This is
any,
the double
any game
standard
in
to me.
this league, and I'm shocked when there's not a special teams flag. That's the first thing I look for on any punt or kickoff return. I'm looking for the flag.
Yeah, this is the double standard for me. Xavier Gibson fumbles a punt. It's not Michael Clay's fault. Xavier Gibson's fault. Cam Jurgens misses a block. Saquon Barkley doesn't hit the hole. Whatever. It's Kevin Patullo's fault. I don't get it.
Oh, that's fair. I mean, yeah, I mean, look, they want to blame the coach they don't like. Everybody hasn't turned on Michael Clay yet, so it's the player's fault.
Michael Clay's a good coach too, by the way.
He is a good coach. But I'm just saying that's how it works. They like the coach or don't hate the coach or don't know the coach, so they blame it on the player. But they know the coach a higher profile. They blame it on the coach.
It's so easy to blame a coach.
They have a blind spot with it.
It's easy to blame Rob Thompson when Bryce Harper strikes out of his ass. It just is.
Right. All right, Jeff, what did you make of Jalen Hurts this game yesterday?
I thought he played fine. Honestly, he was 11 and 19 when facing pressure. It's a lot of attempts facing pressure, by the way. He didn't turn the ball. Again, I thought there were some throws he missed. I thought there were some decisions I'm sure he'd like to have back. I mean, I'd probably give him a solid B. I think he was fine.
I thought he played well, except for the sack at the end.
Yeah, the sack was the one. It's like the last play you remember from him.
Yeah, but I think overall he played a very solid game.
He was their rush offense pretty much since it was 21-0. He had 21 of the 33 yards.
Yeah. By the way, on that play too, since you went to it, the 45-second timeout play. When Pickens got loosed, I guess for 24 yards, that was the greatest pick play of all time, and it wasn't a Cowboy picking; it was Michael Carter picking Quinyon Mitchell off. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
unbelievable. It's like that's
not Vic's fault either.
Well, guys get hurt and they got to come in the game, and that's what happens. That's what happens. He's new. There's not a lot of chemistry there. And he blocks Quinyon and George Pickens. Now, maybe Pickens makes the play anyway because he's Pickens, but it's not that
certainly
easy.
Helped.
It's not that easy. So a lot of things went wrong, and I think defensively, the biggest problem was losing Adoree Jackson, Reed Blankenship. They really struggled from that point forward.
A lot of people like to criticize Adoree Jackson, but there's a reason why he plays. He's a veteran, and he's always in the right spot.
He knows what he's doing. Yeah, that's important, especially in Vic's defense.
Yeah, especially with Vic. It's look, Adoree earned that job.
And he's not going to play Friday. I'm very comfortable saying that.
Yeah. I'll tell you who's not going to play Friday. Who was walking off on crutches yesterday? Andrew Makuba.
Yeah, that happened. That happened on that play, by the way.
Yeah,
it did. Play. That happened. So that happened with 35 seconds left. So I don't even know what the Eagles did because Dallas started kneeling it. So didn't really matter who was back there, but and then they kicked the field goal to win the game. By the way, the arc of Brandon Aubrey's kicks, there's no way you're blocking that kick, man. My God.
That guy's just good.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but those blocks against Cardi were, I think, maybe more because of Cardi than
it was so low.
Cardi.
The trajectory
in the wedge.
So
Cardi in the wedge. Yep.
No, I mean, Jordan and Jalen did a great job. I mean, even when it is
they deserve credit. I agree.
Yeah, even when it is kick. But this guy gets the ball out so high. There's no way. Like I said last night, Will Chamberlain, Joel Embiid couldn't block that. The ball comes out so high. That dude's amazing.
Master Adem Bona couldn't block that.
Yeah.
By the way, that's where I went yesterday, and the Sixers really missed him yesterday.
No VJ Edgecombe, I have no interest, man. That's all the season's about for me. VJ Edgecombe.
They missed him yesterday.
And Maxie.
He's elevated to superstar status. No doubt about it.
But one point I wanted to point out about the game yesterday, I'm trying to remember the scenario now. Hold on, maybe I'll get back to it at some point. I'm sure it'll come back in my mind.
So, guys, I want to talk real quick about Cooper DeJean on the outside. John, you still said you think he can play outside. You know, I don't know.
You're not
He
playing
didn't. You know,
George
they picked on
Pickens
him out
every
there.
day.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I'm just saying. You know, does Jeff? What do you think? Do you think Cooper can play outside?
I think George Pickens more have had to do with his struggles than anything else. I think Cooper gave up the most yards to anybody because of George Pickens. So,
Yeah,
look,
he did.
Okay, so let's play a game here. The Bears' top 3 receivers are
DJ Moore, Romo Odunze, and I don't know the third one.
see, I think he'd fare better on Friday.
Yeah, of course. And they're good players, by the way.
They are.
Odunze is very good, and TJ Moore is one of the more, I think, underrated receivers in the NFL.
He's a really good slot receiver. I don't think DJ Moore and Ben Johnson.
Oh, Luther Burden.
Luther Burden's there. That's right.
Rookie.
Missouri's Luther Burden.
And they have Olamide. Don't forget Olamide.
Yeah, we got a lot of pass catchers. We got a lot of problems in the second. Is Reed?
Yeah, but the beauty of Reed we have to see, but it didn't look good. I'll say that, at least for on a short week. I don't think it's long term, but I think it's going to be difficult for him to get back as well. Chicago is not going to be consistent in the passing game because the quarterback is not consistent, but they will make splash plays. Make no mistake about it.
And they're 8-3 for a reason. I don't like how they're 8-3. They're the 8-3 team you should be concerned about, not the Philadelphia Eagles, but I digress.
Yeah, I would say I'm going to disagree with you. The Eagles are better than that team. No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. Did you see the list? Brad Biggs put it up. Who covers the Bears? Did you see the quarterbacks they've beaten in this?
Yes.
I mean,
it's not good.
It is just a shit show.
The Steelers are the first team they've beaten with winning record all year, and I don't think they're going to.
And it was with Mason Rudolph, not Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Mason Rudolph. Yeah.
So here's the list to give it to everybody: Spencer Rattler, Tyler Huntley.
Benched.
Joe Flacco still, sadly, still
with another team though. So
yes, with Jackson Dart, who's okay as a rookie. JJ McCarthy, who is the worst quarterback I've ever seen, and that's not hyperbole.
No, he's bad.
Abysmal. And Mason Rudolph. That's who they beat.
Awesome.
It's not their fault.
No, they're winning the division. They earned it. It's
all you can do is play who's in front of you. I'm
sure
saying,
I'm sure the Packers and Lions are really rooting for the Eagles this week.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are going to bounce back. I think they're going to beat that team. Not handle, they're not explosive enough to. I used the term boat race yet. I shouldn't have used boat race because they're not explosive enough. But I think it's a fairly easy win for the Eagles. I'm already giving out my hand. I think they bounce back.
I got to tip the cap here publicly on the show to a Dallas Cowboy player, Elijah Clark. Did you guys see the tape?
Oh yeah, he got
awesome.
Beaten up, and that was
Sidney Brown beat him,
that dude to the ground 2-3 different times, and he just keeps working, keeps running, keeps getting. I mean, look, you got to tip the ball. I mean, tip the cap there. That was such
that
a
is special
free agent
in a
rookie.
nutshell, man.
Yeah,
never stop.
You know what? Before that happened, when Elijah Clark forced the fumble, I was kind of watching Brown for some reason. I'm like, isn't that the guy Brown just beat up? And then when they finally showed it on Twitter, I'm like, oh, it was the guy beat up. So,
by the way, I've never seen a guy so good at special teams and so bad on defense as Keely Ringo. Like, he is a monster on special teams.
Keely Ringo's gonna have a long career in the NFL, just not on defense.
He came in. I think he played one play, got flagged.
Yeah, he did.
And it was a proper flag, by the way.
Yeah,
so nobody should complain about that. But he is such a good gunner, which I know nobody cares about, but
I care. I like that.
Yeah.
Sidney Brown's a pretty good special teamer too.
Yeah, when he's not getting penalties, he's a big penalty guy. But
yeah. Just think of Friday. Oh man. I like Sid too.
Oh, Sid's a great dude, but yeah, he's.
I'm rooting for him.
Jeff, any concern with the defense after that game? I'm not sitting here telling you they were a reason for the loss, but you give up almost 500 yards of offense, 24 straight points to the Dallas Cowboys. I get it. A lot of context there.
And 17 drops by CD Lamb thrown in there.
Yeah, people aren't ready for that conversation. If CD Lamb has hands, that game might be a blowout for the Cowboys.
I don't think people really understand how good this Dallas Cowboys offense is.
I don't know what's wrong with CD Lamb.
Like, people love to rip on Dak, and look, I rip on Dak too, but I'm telling you, man, Dak Prescott throwing to George Pickens and CD Lamb is like just a cheat code.
By the way,
is that fun?
For what it's worth, CD only drops against the Eagles.
Yeah, he does. He seems to catch balls against everybody else.
Yeah. He's got, I think, 2 drops outside the Eagles games, which, it's not terrible. He's dropped 7 passes against the Eagles.
And a lot of right in his hand, too.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's strange.
So, Zander, I actually wrote down one of my overreactions. I'm like, defense did give up 473 yards, but they did whatever they could to preserve that lead and keep that game tied as badly as they were getting beaten. I just keep going back to the offense and how the offense just could not score a point for them afterwards. And I thought when they got that 4th down stop, when Dallas went for it, which, by the way, I still think is the right call, go for the touchdown, even though the Eagles can't score, I thought Jalen Hurts was going to lead that offense down the field and they were going to kick a field goal at the end of the game and win because that's what they do. But
now, but let's pick. All right, if we want to pick on the defense, who are you picking on? Because I think it's
they had so many guys hurt too. It's
the back end. Yeah, the back end that hurt things, but I don't think the defensive front played well.
No, I don't either. Like I forgot Jalen Phillips was on the team.
Yeah, what happened to Jalen Phillips?
That Cowboy offensive line is not bad. That's a pretty good offensive line.
No, they draft well there. Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith.
They always draft well. Will McClay is one of the best personnel guys.
I even think that dude on the outside is playing pretty well. Steele is his name. Is that his name?
Darren Steele? Yeah, he's a good player too. 3rd round pick. It's
Guyton's the one who had some issues. He had some penalties.
Yeah, I think he came out of the game at one point for an injury. I don't know if he went back in or what. But
he did go back.
Jalen Hunt is playing better than Nolan Smith.
Yeah, Nolan Smith doesn't look very good right now.
Nolan Smith's on the Eagles? I wasn't aware.
Yeah, right.
And he was up to 40 reps yesterday, Nolan Smith. And I
who else might be playing better than Nolan Smith? He wasn't even on the team a month ago. BG.
Well, no, BG doesn't even play. How many reps?
He played. I think it was 10 snaps.
I gotta look, but he didn't play
look
a
at
lot.
the snap count. I haven't checked it. But when I was rewatching the game, I saw him in a couple times.
I saw him in one bad play. I
saw him chasing somebody.
That bad play wasn't his fault. I saw it when he was running upfield to chase the guy down. That wasn't on BG.
He only played 8 snaps, which I think is
okay. So I wasn't that far off.
So it was Phillips.
49. Let's be real. I didn't see anybody on the defensive line yesterday. And by the way, somebody told me pregame we're gonna have 5 sacks. I'm like, Dak does not take a lot of sacks, guys.
Dak does not take sacks, and the Cowboys do not give up sacks.
Yeah, people are clueless. 59 for Phillips. Hunt 43, Smith 40. So it was pretty much down to a 3-man rotation, and I don't think it was effective yesterday. Now, Phillips is a good player, but he's not a great player. So he played like a great player for 2 weeks, and I think so you're going to have these games, but he's going to be fine.
The Bears have a good offensive line too on Friday.
Yeah, they do. They spent a lot of money on that offensive line, so that has helped them. But those guys, Hunt and Smith, have to play better. Hunt had one sort of splash play, but I bet when the grades come out, it's not that great. But we'll see. Smith, I haven't seen much since he came back, and that's got to get better. Which is, he's got to be a big part of this, Nolan Smith, and he's got to get better.
I don't see them paying him. I'd rather than paying to Kobe Dean.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think he played well either, by the way. So if you're looking, people get enamored because he had the one sack. He had the one sack where he just ran over Williams, which showed his tremendous physicality. Very physical.
He had great playing coverage too, though.
Early in the game he did, yeah. Early in the game he did. Look, it's sometimes you're just gonna have a bad performance.
I mean, John, when you
sports.
say they didn't have a good game, what do you mean? Because they gave up almost 500 yards. Like you could probably look at numbers and say nobody.
Well, that's why I mean consistency wise, I don't think he had one of his best games.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
They were running the football. They were throwing the football.
Quinion didn't have one of his best games. Cooper didn't have one of his best games.
A lot of people. I just talked about the defensive line. What I like about the defense is their perseverance, and when they get in the red zone, basically, what is the goal of the game? As Jim Swartz would always say, points.
Keep them out of the red zone.
Keep it out, and they did that. So I gave them a higher sort of in my mind because they do that. But
473 yards given up, 7.0 yards per play given up, and they only gave up 24 points. I'm honestly kind of impressed.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They didn't give up a lot of points, even though they gave up a shitload of yards. But I think that doesn't bode well for the grades when you give up a shitload of yards.
Obviously. Jeff, what'd you make of the call on 3rd and 2?
Hated it. Hated it.
I know you brought it up earlier, but like, what else do you call it? You got 3rd and 2. You're probably not going to.
I don't mind AJ running the slant. I don't
You're
know.
In your own territory.
I think that's on the quarterback more than anything else. I hate to say it, but I think it's on Jalen.
Spread them out and quarterback draw them to death. That's what I do.
And they wouldn't have stopped it. I would. Yeah, I'm kind of with John on that. I didn't want him running the football. Obviously, AJ wasn't open. Devontae wasn't open. I don't know where Goddard was on that play.
Yeah, I have to relook at that play because clearly the first progression was the AJ and he wasn't open. So that's not Jalen's fault.
And
I don't know what the second, third progression were. I have to try to figure that out.
By the way, I got really mad at that too. Oh, AJ didn't try hard on that play. Or how about he was covered? That does happen in football. I know this isn't Madden.
Yeah, there is another team out there. Yes.
Yeah, the other team does play.
You know, like the picking stuff. I mean, sometimes you just got to go, all right, that guy's fucking good. He got me. You know.
John, why do people have a problem with AJ Brown's attitude after the game? Did you hear about that?
I watched the entire fucking interview. That is such bullshit.
I thought nothing of it.
He's miserable for 6.5 of the 7 minutes. Somebody like laughs in the interview. He looks over at him and gives him a smile, and then everybody screenshots the smile. Oh my God, AJ Brown is happy because he got his
AJ Brown didn't look happy the entire interview. Like he was mad they lost. Like
oh
he
my
should
God.
be.
People just
I didn't see it. I'll probably hear about it, but I didn't see it.
Gosh. People just want to blame AJ.
I'm telling you, some of these guys just can't win no matter what they do, which is why they are is because you nitpick every little thing these people do. Everything.
Oh my God.
They can't smile, they can't frown, they can't say shit. It's unbelievable. Oh, no, you got to be more like Jalen and have the same attitude. I heard that one yesterday.
By the way, when we got A.J. Brown involved, we scored 21 straight points, 3 straight drives. I don't think A.J. Brown is the fucking problem. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't either.
I mean.
By the way, here's Saquon's runs yesterday, courtesy of Dan Orlovsky.
Oh, I've heard this. Yeah, like
12. 2 yards, -1, 2, 7. 7 was the long. 2, 1, 1, 5, 1, 2. So 10 runs, 2 effective runs, 20%. That's not good.
It's not good. By the way, I'll bring it up, and I like Saquon. Why the hell did you give him more money?
I don't know.
Did he really need it? Did you really need to pay him more?
That was a thank you.
That was a thank you.
Oh well, that's great. I don't care about thank yous. The thank you was the Vince Lombardi Trophy.
Yeah, I mean, he had a historic season last year.
I get you pay people performance, but it's not good business.
My personal policy on that is it's not my fucking money, so I don't care.
Yeah, I know, but I'm thinking in terms of telling you.
I don't think that position, as much money as he makes at that position, I don't think it really affects the. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not affecting you.
I'm going to be eating my words next year, by the way, when he has another big year, because it'll be 2 years
Possibly.
removed from the 2,000 yard.
It's going to be tough not to have a better year than he's having this year.
I mean,
he's averaging like under 2.5 yards per carry since the bye week.
He is not having a good year, man.
He's not. He's not. I mean,
to his credit, he said that yesterday.
And guys, I'm not sitting here telling you the offensive line's been great, but I cannot put it all on the offensive line. I mean, look at around the league. How many bad offensive lines are there? And teams are still able to run a little bit better than Saquon Barkley is. You're telling me we can't scheme up anything? We can't get going at all? Some of it's got to fall.
Well, and look at Tank.
Yeah. Tank Bigsby's your example.
What does everybody say? What does everybody get together and say? Okay, Tank's in the game. Let's block. I mean, what?
No, but normally John, you always are good at adding context to that, where they're not game planning for Tank. They're not,
well, that's true. That's true.
Play,
But you know what? In the middle of a game, half of the time, and I would say more than half of the time, especially this year, because Saquon's not having a good year. Like early in the year, yes, they were hyper-focused on Saquon. They probably don't even know that for the most part, that they swapped out Saquon for Tank. At least 50% of the time. Look, the guy's just got more juice, which ain't good. Javonte Williams had more juice.
Yeah.
Like I said, he was Jahmyr Gibbs last year. And this year, Tank Bigsby looks more explosive.
I was waiting for your comp for this year.
By the way, guys, don't go on Twitter and search Saquon Barkley's name. You don't want to see some of the things that are on there. They go way deeper than football.
Is it about too many commercials and that bullshit?
Oh, it's even worse than that.
Well, hit me with
it. Him golfing with the president. His number since he golfed with the president.
Are you serious?
On, man.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's fucking takes. These people are.
I'm telling you, I've shaken 3 presidents' hands and whatever. I don't care.
I'll go golfing with any president.
Yeah, same here.
Hey, they want to go golfing?
Commercials. I'll buy that a little bit. I
don't buy that. That shit happens in March.
I know. That guy, he's in every fucking commercial known to man.
Yeah, but he's not filming them on Tuesday, which I try to explain.
I was happy to see AJ Brown in a commercial. I don't know who it was, but he was jogging.
Geico.
Geico, is that who it was?
Yeah.
AJ Brown's in a Geico commercial.
He didn't do that on Tuesday either. These are all in the can many months ago.
They're during their downtime in February and March. Just talk to their agents.
Yeah. So
Patrick Mahomes, I'm telling you, I've interviewed Patrick Mahomes while he was on the break from a Head and Shoulders commercial on March 8th once.
Do you guys believe that yesterday was an example of what AJ Brown has been talking about this year with the frustrations?
Well, I mean, yes, in the standpoint of, look, he just wants to contribute, and he's been pretty consistent. And his thought process is, basically, if you don't use it, you lose it, that type of thing. And, when they have success passing the football, it's like, oh, yeah, see, they can pass the football. And that's part of, nobody's saying this team isn't conservative and risk averse. I've used that term so many times. It's become part of the lexicon, I think.
You should get a shirt that says risk averse.
That's how they play. It's been successful. But I said, be careful what you wish for. If you lose some games and you've lost a game, and if you lose another game, maybe that will spawn some change. I don't know if you want that. I think you'd rather have wins. But
I'd rather win. But then again, the Eagles could have went down the field, kicked the field goal, and won 24-21, and we'd be having this conversation.
I thought they were going to do exactly that, because Feberflus came out soft is with the soft zone as usual. They were moving the football, and then bang, stop.
Yep. Right midfield too. By the way, what did you guys think of Fred Johnson's comments yesterday? They blew up.
Fred saying he doesn't know, he's not a coach.
Yeah, he's not a coach. Yeah,
No
okay,
problem.
like
Well, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, he
no, I
doesn't
don't
know.
either.
I think he's telling the truth.
I was
He's
like,
a
well,
backup
he's not
right
wrong.
tackle.
Yeah.
What do these people want? Fred Johnson to have the answer? He's a backup right tackle. He's
I think
in
it was,
for a Hall of Famer.
I think
Did
he's
you hear
telling
they
the
weren't going to miss
truth.
a beat? We're going to miss a beat with Fred.
I thought he was telling the complete truth. He's like, I don't know. I'm not a coach.
Look, I love Fred Johnson. Lane Johnson is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and Fred Johnson, his entire career, has been a journeyman. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, the people who said that were nuts. I mean,
Well,
look,
they're nuts because they put him in on Madden. It's almost like he's not good. He's got a 70 rating on Madden. Come on, man. Like,
yeah.
I
I
don't know.
mean,
All right, Jeff, let me get your final thought here. I got a bunch to do here with John in the last 30 minutes of the show. Your final thought: Eagles lose the game. They fall to 8-3. They got four winners of 4 straight. I thought it was 6 straight. I was wrong last. I think it's 4 straight wins for the Bears. They're 8-3 as well, and at the top of the North right now. That's a Black Friday game on a short week. Your final thought here on the Eagles collapse and lost yesterday.
Just a bad loss. It's a bad loss. It's a bad collapse. It happens. I don't think the season's over by any means. Like, they only fell from first in the NFC to second in the NFC, and they will stay at second in the NFC if they win on Friday because they'll still be at 4.
I think next gen stats had it at 96% win for Eagles when it was 21-0. So yeah, that's a bad loss.
It's a bad. That's the first time they blew a 21-point lead in a game since Andy Reid's first game, week 1 of the 1999
Yeah,
season.
I saw it was to at least 2000. I guess they went back and figured it out. So it was the worst loss of the decade for the Eagles, and not the decade, the century. And the Cowboys had tied their biggest comeback ever.
Yeah, biggest comeback against the Eagles too.
Yeah. So not good.
So Dallas won their first Super Bowl since '95, and the Eagles have collapsed. Season's over.
Let's see what happens. Jeff, appreciate you doing it today, man. Make sure you guys go and follow Jeff at Jeff Kerr PHL. We appreciate you doing it today, Jeff. We'll talk to you again soon. All right, brother.
I appreciate you guys.
Have a good Thanksgiving. All right.
Yeah. You too, Xander. John, have a good Thanksgiving. And I don't think you guys are doing a bird show on Saturday.
No, not Saturday.
I guess Monday.
Monday
same schedule time.
All right, brother. Thank you, man.
Sounds good, guys.
All right, see you, bud.
There's Jeff Kerr joining us right here on Birds 365. Good stuff there from Jeff Kerr. Appreciate him being here this morning. Appreciate everybody for watching today. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not already. We'll take all super chats on the show right now. We got about 30 minutes left to play. John, anything else on the game before I hit to the super chats that we didn't talk about or that's on your mind after the game? They dropped they collapsed basically versus Dallas in Dallas. 24 unanswered points for the Cowboys. The Eagles go 3 straight drives of touchdowns and then a goose egg for 41 plus minutes of gameplay. And the off defense gives up almost 500 yards.
Yeah, I don't think we're paying enough attention to what went on in the secondary. And I'm not talking about the completions to George Pickens. I'm talking about the injuries, because I think if you can point to this Eagles run, which is now, 24-28 because they lost, the biggest contribution to that was health, keeping the key players on the field. And you've already seen, we just talked about Lane and Fred, the difference. Now you're talking, you saw when, and these aren't even top tier starters for the Eagles, but you saw the difference when Adoree Jackson left, when Reed Blankenship left. Not the same, man. Not the same. Not even close. And now you add Drew Makuba. There's a good chance that Caleb Williams, and again, I think it's somewhat mitigated by he's not the most consistent thrower of the football in the world, but he could be facing Sidney Brown and Michael Carter maybe at safety this week. Shouldn't say next week.
Yeah, we will see what happens. All right, let's go to some super chats here. Zeal checking in at the start of the show. Zeal, thank you, brother. Penalties are killing this team. What are they doing to fix it? Over legislation is a poor excuse. Adapt.
Well, I mean, It's not an excuse, number one. I'm just blaming the NFL for not labeling a penalty correctly. That has nothing to do with the Eagles. They obviously have to fix it. And this is the most, they've talked about this, the negative plays. That's been a big thing. Not only the pre-snap penalties, but also the negative plays in general is what kind of has gotten the offense askew, getting behind the sticks. So it's been a season-long problem. But yesterday it got to the point of the most penalties, I think in the Sirianni era, or it might have tied it. So for that first game in Atlanta, when they had a shitload of penalties, not good enough. Nobody's saying it is. But yeah, lining up is the stuff you got to worry about.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous.
You got to be able to line up. And that's been an issue.
No doubt. Here's quick one. What's up, brother? Using me, but not using me. Tank Bigsby 2025. Uh-oh, John. The Tank Bigsby campaigns are starting.
That's amazing, by the way. Look, I'm the first to say that Saquon is having a bad year. Saquon said it himself, but you can't bench Saquon Barkley for Tank Bigsby. You can't even entertain, we're gonna give Tank 10 carries and take him. You can't do it. You got to figure it out with Saquon Barkley. And if he doesn't have it, if he's totally lost it from 482 touches last year, which I don't think is the case, then that's an off-season issue. But you can't bench a player of that category, even think about 50-50 or even think about taking without an injury. You can't do it. You just can't do it.
Here's Brian Garner. I had them losing by 3, but to lose after being up by 21 is crazy. Poor execution. Discipline was 16. It was 14, but that's fine. 14 penalties and injuries to the secondary contributed to it. Barkley looks indecisive. Great word for it. And Cooper was bad. Agreed on all fronts, Brian.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Saquon. With the Cooper stuff, yeah. I mean, he looked bad compared to what Cooper. But again, look at the other guy. Look at the other guy taking it off his helmet. That was a pretty good game by the other guy. You're not going to be facing him every week, at least the year he's having. By the way, 9 targets, 9 receptions, 146 yards.
9 targets and 9 receptions is crazy. And then you added the yardage, the touchdown. George Pickens is
at some point, occasionally you have to give credit to the other team.
He's a top receiver in football this year. He is.
I said he's a second-team All-Pro.
Yeah.
He's one of the top 4 receivers in football this year.
Brian, thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Here's worst behavior. What's up? The team is becoming arrogant. It seems like they truly thought 21-0 was enough. And
they're very arrogant. That is true. They are tremendously arrogant.
Where's that from? Coaching quarterback?
Winning.
Winning, but you don't have to, just because you win doesn't mean you automatically by default become arrogant.
It makes you arrogant. New England, all great teams are arrogant.
All right, there's good arrogance and there's bad arrogance. Is this becoming bad arrogance?
No, I don't think so. They just think that they're better than everybody else.
Well, they're not. They're not at all.
They have been, but they got to get back to that.
Shows what they can do. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, anytime you lose a 21-0, it ain't good. But yeah, I've talked about the hubris a lot. It's very, very,
Here's Dante. Dante says, did that shit. He's talking about Saquon and pass protection. Dante, I saw this come in when I said that. Did that shit last year too, Z. We just let it slide. Yeah, because he ran.
No. He was above average in pass. Not great. There were very few running backs who were great, but he was much better in pass protection than last season than this season. Much better. Like, I've crossed over and say pretty consistently Jahmyr Gibbs is the best running back in football now. He can't pass block to save his life. It is a lost art for the most part with most running backs. There are a few guys who are good at it.
I wonder how Javonte Williams is graded out because he stood up Nolan Smith on one of those plays.
Well, he also got run over by Nakobe on one play.
Well, Nakobe ran over who's the other dude Nakobe ran over recently? A couple weeks ago.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's very few. That's why I'm so high on Jeremiah Love, at who should be a top 5 pick even as a running back in next year's draft, because he can do everything, including pass protect, which is bizarre to me because nobody in college can pass protect.
It shows you the power of Nolan. Nakobe Dean destroys Javonte Williams. Nolan gets stood the hell up.
Well, that's what I talked about, the splash plays with Nakobe, because that's what everybody's going to look at, and that's the highlight. But there are also 2 or 3 times when he did get held up.
Fair enough. Dante, thank you, dude. Here's Pumper. I believe Saquon Barkley needs to be investigated for gambling on his unders. He's dancing so much and conveniently slipping in the clutch.
Well, he is slipping a lot.
So much, dude. It feels like every time he cuts.
Yeah, maybe Pumper's on
it. 3rd and 2 at the end of the game.
I'm surprised more people haven't gone.
Should have had the first down on that.
I'm surprised when things are bad, honestly, that more people don't go the stupid conspiracy betting route. You know what?
Those aren't really conspiracies anymore, John.
Well, I was going to say the NFL opened that up themselves, and other sports, not just them. They shouldn't have allowed it, but they did. Now they are where they are, so they deserve it. But I'm surprised. All I'm saying is I'm surprised more people don't do it.
Pump, appreciate it. Here's Mesmerized. What's up, brother? Member for 11 months. Thank you, my man. So what's your feel for the team the rest of the way, J-Mac? Another collapse incoming or a silver lining somewhere? Good question.
No, it's going to be fine. Look at the schedule. It's going to be fine. That's a really difficult place to play. Dak Prescott hasn't lost a division game in Arlington since 2017. I think he's 22-2. 6 or 7-1 against the Eagles.
Yeah, it's impressive. But
it's a really difficult.
I think the biggest thing going for the Eagles, John, is the lack of competitiveness around the NFL right now. I don't really see it dominant. The Rams are damn good, but people.
Well, I mean, I do think the Rams are better than the Eagles, but and even though it was fluky that the Eagles did beat the Rams, I mean, you have to add that into the equation. Even though I think the Rams outplayed them. And right now, if I were to pick that game, I would think the Rams would win it. But the good news is there is, 6 games to go. The goal isn't to play your best. The Eagles are certainly going to be in the playoffs. The goal isn't to play your best on November 23rd. It's play your best in January and February. Chicago, they're going to win. The Chargers are.
You're like really confident about the Chicago game.
Yeah, a little less only because of the secondary, but I just don't think it's a good football team. I think they're better. I shouldn't say they're not good. They're good. They're not great. They're not in a position to where they can play with the top tier teams. I don't think yet.
I don't disagree, but they're a resilient team, and Ben Johnson has done wonders with that. I think still being a way off schedule.
I think you're going to see the inconsistencies of the quarterback. Now, he will make splash plays, but I think you're going to be singing a different tune after you see him play a full game. The Chargers, their tackles crippled them. Losing Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater just crippled that team. That would have been a tough game. I don't think that's a tough game any longer. The Raiders are an absolute disaster. Firing Chip Kelly today, already fired their special teams coordinator. The Commanders are a disaster. They got them twice at Buffalo. Who knows what that game's going to be? And if both teams are playing, neither team's playing something, who knows?
It's like Eagles light over there, John. They got Kevin Byard, they got DeAndre Swift, they got Gardner Johnson. All them guys are coming out. The
Eagles could use Kevin Byard and CJ this week.
Yes, they could.
Because of the injuries. Only because of the injuries, but Yeah, I think they're going to be fine. Pick's going to come up with stuff that's going to confuse Caleb Williams.
I agree.
I'm pretty confident.
He won't make plays though when a play breaks down.
Oh God. Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's you want him to play on schedule. That's how I describe it. Right.
As Ben would, and I would agree with that. Here's Corporate Pump. How does the guy who this fan base says is a top 5 QB fail 3 weeks in a row to sustain a game clinching drive? Oh, it's all the O-line and Kevin Patullo's fault with a clown emoji. Pumper coming after Hurts.
Well, he always comes after Hurts, but I mean, yeah. I mean, look, I'm always players first. When it's good, players first. When it's bad, players first. He's part of it. I thought he played one of his better games, but that last drive, I thought it should have been pretty easy for him the way they were playing to just nickel and dime them down the field. And they started off well, and then it went to shit. So, I mean, I don't think that last drive was what it should have been for the Eagles.
Here's worst behavior. Saquon's issues are simple. The Madden cover curse. I don't go down there.
Yeah, I'm not a big curse guy. So, I prefer reality.
Me too. Here's Pumper. We dropped 21 points in the first half. Then we didn't score a single point in the second. But, yeah, we can absolve the QB because he's handsome. Jalenite logic.
What the fuck does that even mean?
I think he's talking about the chat there, Johnny Mac.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
All right,
I agree. I guess I agree. I don't think he should be absolved because he's handsome. So I agree.
All right, we got like 5 pumpers in a row. Get ready for them. Here's Pump. I hear no one mentioning the fraudulent play of Jalen Hurts and someone who has ducked the smoke, Missy effing Elliott, another clutch miss. Well, I will say this. He started off perfect. Last 5 games, he's missed 3.
Well, I mean, look, he's got I think his deficiencies as a quarterback are well documented. And I think he played pretty well yesterday overall. But you don't win, and that's what happens. That's kind of his point, Pumper. He loses a game and people give him shit, even though the numbers are good. The numbers were good. No turnovers again. Completion percent 27 of 39, 289 yards. The numbers are good. They didn't win the game.
They can't run the ball. Pumper says, J-Mac, why even bring up that QB stat for the Bears? Like, buddy, we employed Tamagotchi Hurts. What confidence does he elicit? Old man River Hurts.
What stat did I even bring up about the Bears?
I don't know, John. I just laugh at Pumper and all these
playing against quarterbacks. Listing the quarterbacks you won against is not a stat. That's the only thing I mentioned. Right?
Well, I think that's what he's talking about, and he's saying that he doesn't believe that Hurts.
That's not a stat, but yeah. So
yeah,
I digress.
Here's Pump again. Nick, Jalen, I trust you to make a play. Hurts. Take a sack.
Well, that was a bad sack, which I've said pretty consistently. But I have to see what happened. Obviously, AJ wasn't open. That was pretty clear. From there, probably something he could have went to, but can't say it with 100% certainty.
Pump again. Told everyone this fan base does not hold Hurts accountable. When we lose, we can't blame him. And when we win, we can't even boast. This is the Jalen Hurts tax.
Well, they definitely don't want to blame him. The vast majority. Some are like you, Pumper, that hate him to a certain extent.
Much smaller.
But much smaller group, yeah. The group that, thinks he's not above criticism, they're just as ludicrous as Pumper.
Well, the easiest way to make the Eagles fan base like you is to just say Jalen Hurts is great and the coaching staff sucks. That's
yeah.
They'll love you if you say that. Exactly. JH says 11 games in, the eyes don't lie. Tank is getting more yards every time. Politics of the salary aside, should we be using him more?
No.
Even with the politics aside?
Yeah, no.
You still don't think they should switch it up a little bit?
Xavier Gibson looked pretty good until he didn't.
You think that's Tank Bigsby too?
Yeah. History says he's going to put the ball on the ground.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, Saquon put the ball on the ground yesterday, John.
Yeah, all right. He did. Once, and how many times has he touched it? That was number one.
If you get one from Tank, but you get a more productive running game.
I'm saying you're going to get more than one if he's getting the same amount of touches. And he's not going to get the same amount of touches because you're going to get more than one, and you can't be on the field if you don't have good ball security with this team.
Pump, here goes Pump. You don't abandon the run. Good football teams don't stop handing it off. Exhibit A, the Super Bowl. Let Dallas pin its ears back, down 21.
I don't know what the Super Bowl has to do. They didn't let the offense pass the 50-yard line for 8 consecutive drives. I don't understand people's not understanding the concept of the defense dominated that Super Bowl, so it didn't pretty much matter anything else. The offense played well because the defense dominated. They threw the ball, they ran the ball. Saquon had one of his worst games from that point, but it didn't matter because the defense dominated. When you don't allow a team past the 50-yard line for 8 or 9, I forget if it was 8 or 9 consecutive drives, you're going to win the game.
Yeah. And by the way, they had a pick 6. They got points too.
Yeah. I mean, they dominated.
Here's Zeal. Ironic Kuro, he says, go back to the 96, 97 Eagles. I would take those teams' offensive coordinators over Patullo any day. John Gruden.
Yeah, I mean, look,
I don't think John Gruden would like coaching this offense with Jalen Hurts.
Well, he's certainly not going to be a coordinator, John, at this stage. You're going to have to make him the head coach. But, yeah, all right. I get it. Like Kevin's the scapegoat. It's the way it works. I get it.
And here's Pump. So TB12 highlighted pregame the Cowboys using more 5-man fronts the last weeks, and then Landon mentions postgame they were surprised. Oh, brother. It's a fair point.
I think, I think that's one of those things where.
Isn't that just preparation? Don't you watch the game tape of your opponent from the game?
Well, yeah, it's preparation more than anything, but I think it's one of those things where people take what players say like it's, you're in front of Congress, and even people lie in front of Congress, you're under oath. Landon probably wants it back right now, but can't get it back. I don't know why I said it. I'm not there, but it's not true. Jeff Stoutland certainly knew they were playing 5-man fronts. Maybe he's not paying attention. I don't know what to tell you. But either way, it's on the player. Because, and by the way, even if the Eagles coaching staff, and you want to say it's Kevin Patullo is forbidding, because you don't want to blame Jeff Stoutland, I assume. So let's say Kevin Patullo is preventing Jeff Stoutland from informing his group that they're going to play a lot of 5-man fronts. This is the modern NFL. Almost every team now has variable fronts and plays 5-man fronts. Landon Dickerson has seen that a million times. So it doesn't hold water any way you look at it.
Pump, appreciate it. Super chat. Here's Roll Philly. AJ, game on the line, and he gets locked up by Bland? ?
Yeah, he did. He had a great game, and he got locked up at the biggest moment. He did. Again, sometimes you got to give the other player some credit.
Yeah, they also did blanket over the coverage on there. It wasn't just Bland. They dropped the linebacker was bleeding that way as well. That's why Hurts didn't want to throw the football.
And the Eagles may have been, and that's because it's 3rd and short. Most teams are going to think that that's going to be man coverage, because it's really difficult to stop 3rd and 2 in zone coverage. So most are going to toggle them. I don't know. That might be something to complain about with the coaching staff, because Eberflus is going to be more apt to run some kind of zone. So maybe that's something to blame on the coaching staff, but I got to look at that play again.
Yeah, I watched it a couple times. I didn't see the all 22 or anything. I just saw the replay of it where they did the the spider cam, whatever it is you called it. Here's tea time. People were saying the pass offense affecting Saquon in the running game. I was saying that. I might be proven wrong. In actuality, Saquon is just not playing good.
Well, I agree with that. He admitted that. I don't. Anybody make an excuse? He's not playing well. I don't think, I think it's fair to point out the offensive line is not nearly what it was last season, but he's not playing well. He's not. It's okay. The sun will come up tomorrow. Doesn't mean he can't figure it out. But this is the Giants, Saquon Barkley. So, there's going to be a game or two where he breaks out and has decent games. And there's probably going to be more of this. Hopefully, some of his better games are going to be in better moments, but it's not going to be like last year. They're not capturing that lightning in the bottle.
I agree. Pump says, matter of fact, Zander was right last night. We owe it to LeBron, Ramon, James for Saquon. I did not say that, Pump. You be spewing these narratives. This is all on LeBron. I just brought up the slipping. I said, I think he wears those LeBron cleats. That's all I said.
Oh, it's all on LeBron's cleats. All right. Hey, you're slipping a lot.
He is slipping a lot.
Maybe they want to go back to the laboratory, get some better cleats.
Probably a shoe deal, though. Can't do it. J-Mac Israel says, this offense beat themselves. Do you think we would commit this many penalties and fumble the ball twice in the fourth again? If no, then Super Bowl. All right, Nate, pump the brakes there, my guy. But appreciate the comment.
Well, I definitely don't expect them to fumble. I mean, they don't fumble a lot. And that's the first fumble of the year for...
But the fumble didn't even impact the outcome of the game.
No, Saquon. But still, I'm just saying in general, I don't expect him to fumble. Gibson, I expect to fumble. And that, again, maybe he got hurt too on that play, by the way. So maybe I'll have to go back to Jahan Dotson or elevate Britton Covey. And at least you have the ball security part of it under control.
Here's Pumper. Yes, it's all preparation. It's been like that with Hurst at the helm. We call him Preparation H. We behind the 8 ball already. Tanner would never.
Yeah, the uncertainty of the guy you've never seen play. Everybody loves that guy. Be careful what you wish for.
Here's Roll Philly again. To be fair to Petullo, we can't blame him for not being aggressive and then also complain about not running the ball up 21, but coaches can't adjust.
My favorite word, the adjustment. Yeah, I mean, generally when you're up 21 to nothing, you try to run the ball more. Generally, it makes sense. They couldn't run the ball. And they had a bunch of penalties. Now, the penalty stuff is, especially the pre-snap stuff, is, as Nick says, master the things that take no talent. Well, they can't master it, so maybe it does take some talent. They've been talking about it all year, and they haven't fixed it, so that's a fair criticism.
John, do you have any criticism to go around for Kevin Petullo today?
Sure, plenty. Right there. I mean, he's part of it. Why can't guys line up? The false starts, again, some of those are baked into the environment and all that stuff. But when you get to a certain level, got to sharpen that up. That's Stoutland as well. But certainly Nick, Kevin, they're part of it. The confounding part of this offense is again, they can look so good and look so bad in the same game. They look like they can't be stopped, and then they look like they'll never score again. There's got to be a middle ground. You can't score every time you have the football, so you can't keep up touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. I think Indianapolis had one of those games this year. You can't just have 8 drives and all touchdowns. And if it does, you're probably playing one of the worst teams in the history of football. But yeah, I mean, the down parts are just so down. It's hard to explain. But ironically, like I think the Tampa Bay half was worse than this half. The Rams half, so it was the first half against the Rams, the second half against Tampa. Those two halves were actually worse than the second half in Dallas yesterday, because they did move the ball a little bit in the second half a few times, and they kept shooting themselves in the foot with the penalties. So, but that's all of that is framed on that they are too conservative. They are very risk averse. That's not going anywhere. But yesterday I would point to the shooting themselves in the foot being a bigger deal than the ineffectiveness like it was earlier in the season. Second half Tampa Bay, first half Rams, which was just god awful.
Fair enough. John, we made it to the end of the show, an Overreaction Monday. We got a short week with a game on Friday and Thanksgiving on Thursday. You got the Bears coming up. They are 8-3, and the Eagles are 8-3. It's going to be an interesting matchup on Friday. I think it's going to be a little closer than you do, J-Mac, but we will see what happens in that football game. Your final thoughts here on an Overreaction Monday, John. The Eagles' biggest collapse since, I think someone put out, was it Andy Reid?
1999, yeah.
Since 1999, the biggest collapse.
Biggest collapse of the century.
For the Eagles. Wow.
But, yeah, I would encourage her, don't panic. It's good to get on the field. Watch the Steelers-Bears game on whatever Game Pass. They were not impressive. If that were Aaron Rodgers, Steelers probably win. Kenny Gainwell had an awesome game, by the way. I wouldn't be fearful. They'll be fine. Eagles will be fine.
You got more confidence than I do. John, good stuff, man. Appreciate you doing it as always today. Good show. And we will talk to you tomorrow. What's on the they're off today, right? I know they got a short week.
Yeah, I don't even have the schedule yet. So, but obviously they're going to be out there. It's short week. They'll be out there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's Thanksgiving. They'll do a quick.
Nick will probably speak today, right?
I do not believe he is. I think he's going to talk tomorrow, but not 100%.
No, man, I thought he spoke on Mondays, even
though he does, but because it's a short week, they shift things.
Right, makes sense. All right, John, good show, man. Appreciate it.
All right, see y'all.
All right, thanks, John. There's Johnny Mac. John McMullen, the #1 Eagles beat reporter. Give him a follow on X. At JF McMullen. Appreciate everybody for being here today. Don't forget to hit the like button. All right, we got some stuff to talk about here on Zander Time. There's a couple things I want to hit on. Some Eagle, some NFL. And we will hit on those. I'll take some of the comments from the great people of JAKIB Nation in the chat. All right, see what you guys thought of the game yesterday. A brutal collapse for the Eagles. They lose. They were up by 21. Bro, Philly, I know you were at the game, bro. How was it, man? How was it? Looked awesome. I just saw one of the pictures you posted on social. It's a cool place to go to a game, Jerry's World. It is. It's a nice stadium. So let me know how it was in the chat. Appreciate everybody for being here. What's up, Anya? What's up, Dank? What's up, Pump? Roll Philly. What's up, Catch? What's up, Spa City? Gambling Baby. What's up, Underdog? What's up, my man? Appreciate you being here. Iceberg. What's up, Iceberg? Chris Scott. Flying Minds in here. Curtis. Intern Sirianni. What's going on, everybody? What's up, Kimberly? How you doing it? Kimberly, hit me with it, man. What are the concerns? What are the concerns coming out of that game? I don't have much confidence from a macro in terms of the coaching. I just don't think John puts enough credit on that. I don't. I mean, I get it. I understand his explanations, but I just don't see it the same. I don't think the coaching – sometimes I feel as though the coaching is way over their head. I think you go 41 game minutes without even a point on offense. I mean, to me, that's on the coaches and on the quarterback to some extent. I understand the context of the penalties, which really dragged him down. There was obviously a lot of key penalties there. So I thought that was absolutely brutal. And I think the defense, I mean, I get it. John's right. Where you watch that game, you don't think the defense is problem number one. I agree. I also can't disagree with Sills to some extent. They gave up almost 500 yards. Gave up almost 500 yards of offense. Dak had 250 or 260 yards in the second half. He threw the ball for 350 yards. They had 24 straight points. So I think there's a lot of conversation to go around, man. There's a lot of conversation to go around. All right. So I'll take some comments from the great people. Yeah, I mean, they had 2 turnovers. Dallas wasn't able to capitalize on the 2 turnovers, but I think the one commenter in here is right. The Gibson fumble did flip the field. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. But your defense holds them out there. I mean, that's the most you can ask for. I mean, I hear you, but defense keeps them out. Still think Phillips is getting 25 mil. I think I'm going to need to see more now, right, Morty? Yeah, that's true. I mean, you kind of got a gift with the Aubrey missing the 51-yarder. Saquon turnover was killer, took likely points off the board. I don't know, man. They weren't getting points much. Xander, this has been a recurring issue. I agree 100%. I just don't think this team right now is, I don't know, man. They don't look to me like they don't look to me like the class of the NFL. They really don't. Look, I get it. Could they get it together? Could they figure it out a little bit? 100%. But you can't run the ball. There's such an inconsistent offense, top to bottom. I don't really believe that the coaches have a great handle on when things are tough. I really don't. I don't think they have a great handle on it. I think now you're dealing with a lot of injuries on the defensive side of the ball. Not a lot, but some. You got Lane Johnson out. And the number one problem. What's the number one problem on the team? Very simple to me. What's the number one problem on the team? What's the number one problem on the team? Anybody have the number one problem on the team for me? In the chat. Run. Sagan Island, you're right. And I don't care whether you put that on Saquon or the offensive line. Take your pick. I really don't give a shit. I think it's a little bit of both. You can't run the fucking football. If you can't run the ball, I don't give a shit who you are. You're not going to win a lot of games in the NFL. This has gone back since 1920 when the NFL was established. What year was the first year of the NFL? 1920 or 19 something? Yeah, 1920 was the first NFL season. This goes back 105 years. You can't run the ball in the NFL. You are not going to win a lot of games. No matter how much the league changes, you got to have a running game. All right? You got to have a running game. So I think that's a big problem, man. I think it's offensive line. I think it's also Saquon too. I don't think it's no Saquon. I don't think it's no offensive line. I think it's both of them. Offensive line's not the same. This is not the same Jordan Mailata. It's not the same Landon Dickerson. Cam Jurgens looks like he's 25 to 30% of himself from last year. Tyler Steen, while he's done okay, is not the same type of run game blocker as Mekhi Becton was. And Lane Johnson's been in and out of the lineup. And Saquon Barkley's dancing like a madman. Fucking ballerina Barkley is what Sales called him a couple weeks ago. He's dancing like crazy. He's slipping out. They can't run the football. You're up by 3 scores and you got 10 carries for 22 yards. I agree, Dan. I think Cam should go to the bench for a little bit, man. If the back is as big of a problem, go to the fucking bench, man. Go to the bench. Roll says, Z, am I crazy to think if we don't turn the ball over? I hear you, but I don't think that was the biggest problem, Roll Philly. I get it. 2 turnovers. I understand. You're used to not having turnovers and you win the game. And, Roll, I don't think it's unfair of you to have that thought process. But to me, you go 40-plus minutes with no offensive scores. Your defense gives up 24 points, 500 yards of offense. You take 14 penalties. Bro, look at the penalties. Look at the times of the penalties, dude. You come out in that third quarter, and I was critical of it because I thought they got conservative. I don't even think they went as conservative as I thought. I mean, they come out, they had that big play to Dallas Goedert down the field that would have put him in Dallas territory. Boom, wiped out by an illegal formation with Matt Pryor. I mean, that's a fucking costly penalty, man. They had multiple of those that were drive killers in the second half. Now, I wish the penalties weren't such a killer as they are. Like John said, 1st and 15 or 2nd and 20. You would think with the offensive talent they have, they'd be able to convert on some of those. But it does. It sets you back so far, man. It sets you back so far. Yeah, all the way to the Dallas 30. I agree. I mean, that was a brutal 14 penalties for 96 yards. I mean, look, I never like to boil a game down because I think there's always so much context in an NFL game. But I legitimately think yesterday's game can be boiled down to penalties and running the ball. That's it. You can run the ball a little better in that game, you win. You don't take 14 penalties in that game, you win. I think you walk out of there with a win if those two things are different. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that absolve Jalen completely. You're the quarterback of the team. You're the quarterback of the team. Are you the elite quarterback? You got to go and will us to win. I'm not going to say it's all on Jalen. I'm just saying I don't rule that out entirely. But I fucking boil this game down. I boil it down. You can't run the football, and you take 14 penalties. I don't know what you expect. So, I'll look for some comments now. Take some comments from the great people of JAKIB Nation. See what you guys have to say here on Zander's time here. We do have a giveaway this week. We'll probably do that on Tuesday or Wednesday. I still got to figure out our Thanksgiving schedule, by the way. It's a tough one, man. I'm a worker. I'd like to work on Thanksgiving. I don't give a shit what day it is, but it's my company. I can't expect everybody to work like that. So I got to figure out Thanksgiving. We'll probably have off Thursday. Probably have shows, obviously, Friday with the game. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. Here's Curtis. Zay, I'm not confident in any game. With this offense, every team is in it. The secondary just got blown up. Also, Tanner would be set to fail with this shit for those who want him. We lose to Bears. I don't know. I don't see it all the same, but I'm not. I agree with you that I'm not confident. ZM says, I want to know why Dallas gets so much benefit from the officials on a regular basis. Last time it was because of Spitgate. What's the excuse this time? The officials just dick rise dudes. I don't agree with that at all. ZM, don't fall into that bullshit. That's low hanging fruit, dude. That's low hanging fruit. The Eagles' offense didn't execute, brother, and a lot of the penalties were their fucking fault. A lot of the penalties were their fucking fault. You don't line up right on offense. False starts. A.J. Brown, bad penalty for A.J. Come on, man. Blaming officials. That's such a cop-out. Here's Roll. I'm fine with holding Hurts accountable for not getting it done. He didn't win. That's why I always brag about. But our top 5 wide receiver can't be absolved getting locked down by Bland with the game on the line. I don't disagree. I just don't think he was problem. I don't even think he was problem in the top 10 of problems. I'm more mad at the penalty than I am about the 3rd and 2. Roll, at the end of the day, I hear you, but go and rewatch that play. Bland had nice coverage, and they also the linebacker was also leaning toward A.J. Brown. The linebacker was right there. I think the linebacker was more the reason that Hurts didn't throw that ball than Bland was. Linebacker was right there, dude. That was a tight window throw. That was a tight window throw. Even if he beat Bland, that was a tight window. And you got to go through your progression there. Dallas Goedert looked like he was open. Now, I don't like to play that game because I don't know what the hell is going through Hurts' head or what the progression is, but they had Dallas Goedert over the middle of the field. The other thing I hate on that play is why the fuck are you dropping back 5, 6, 7, 8 steps on 3rd and 2? 3rd and 2 is like 3rd and 12 now. 3rd and 10. That's what I don't like about that play. Here's NJ. Zander, I don't give a shit if we're up 42-0. Keep firing the ball like we did for 19 minutes. No slacking. It's the NFL. I agree, man. We've seen crazy comeback and been a part of 3 of them this year. I agree. NJ, what's up, brother? Hope you're well, man. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're catching a lot of fish. I was over on the channel a couple days ago. Make sure you guys go and subscribe to NJ Fishing Maniac. He is a legend. Legend in the YouTube streets. I love him. So, NJ, I appreciate you being here, man. Hope you're doing well. Island says, like a 5-step drop, immediate pressure inside back pedal. Agreed. I don't understand that. Get the fucking ball out, man. There's no reason on 3rd and 2 with the game on the line to drop back that fucking far. How do you think a 13-yard sack? A 13-yard sack? I mean, holy shit. Roll Philly says, I think it's because Hurts doesn't trust the interior of that line. I don't know. Dude, look, I agree. The interior of the line's not been great, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you it has been great. But Roll, how many seconds until they got to him? It took Osa 6 seconds, 5 seconds to get off his man. If you go watch the playback, Osa didn't beat his man off the jump. He got to him late. He beat his man after 5 seconds. No offensive line's holding up for 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds, man. Now, again, I'm not trying to put it all on him. I'm just saying, get the fucking ball out, dude. Get the fucking ball. It's situational ball. You're under the 2-minute warning. There's 1:50 on the clock. Get the ball out. I know. Look, I hate playing Monday morning quarterback. I really do. I hate it. I hate playing Monday morning. I'm not even trying to go down that road, but guys, on a serious note here, all right, I want to I got to give my condolences to somebody. All right. It's a very sad story. Many of you know our weekly Wednesday show, which had come to an abrupt halt earlier this year in week 3 or week 4. Rest in peace to Pat Callahan. Pat Callahan has passed officially after a short but very tough battle with pancreatic cancer. He passed yesterday in the early afternoon, I was told, and rest in peace to Pat Callahan. All right. An awesome man, an awesome talk show host, a voice in Philly sports for a long time, did a show on 97.5 The Fanatic for a long time. Get Off My Lawn segment is iconic. He was a great man. He was a great father of 2. I don't know who you pray to. I don't know if you pray. But please keep his wife in your prayers. His wife lost their son a year ago in August. And now she's lost her husband, Pat, in the span of 1 year. All right. Now, I got enemies out there. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. So please keep Pat, please keep his family, please keep his wife, please keep his remaining son in your prayers. It's a very sad story. It cuts deep for me because Pat is somebody I work directly with. Pat used to come here before this year when he started doing the show from home. He sat right here at this chair, in this very chair. And I used to always not complain about it, but, I do all my work from the studio. It was kind of a hard thing in the middle of the week, right after a Cilio show, to get all my shit out of here and make the studio for Pat. And now I'd give a lot to just be able to have to clean my studio up one more time for Pat. So it cuts deep for me. He's a great man. He's a great father, and he was a great husband. And gone way too soon. It was a short, but man, it was a tough battle with pancreatic cancer. And for anybody who knows, pancreatic cancer is a killer, man. My grandfather died before I was even born. He died a month after my mother's wedding to my father. And he was on the dance floor with my mother. My mom tells me this story all the time. Nobody knew he was dying. Her father knew. My grandfather knew he was dying on the dance floor. He danced his heart out for my mom and my dad on their wedding day. And 1 month later, my parents left their honeymoon to come back home, and he died in the hospital. Waited for them to get home before he died. Pancreatic cancer is a killer, man. Cancer is a killer. So just keep them in your thoughts, man. We're going to try and do a tribute to Pat this week. I'm going to connect with Sal Palantonio and do something with them. I know it's not something you want to talk about on a Monday after the Eagles lose, but just awful, man. It's really sad. It's a really sad story. It's a really sad thing. So rest in peace, Pat. God bless you, Mrs. Callahan. I'll be thinking of you. I'll be praying for you. I urge everybody, regardless of who you pray to, what your God is, whoever your God is, please pray for Pat. All right? Please pray for Pat. I found out by Sal Palantonio, who reached out to me yesterday. So rest in peace, Pat. Rest in peace, Pat. You won't be forgotten, my friend. Love you, pal. Praying for his wife, praying for his son, praying for his wife, man. Lost a son last year and now her husband this year. It's brutal, man. It's just brutal. I mean, Pat wasn't a young man, but he was in his 60s. I mean, come on. Way too soon. So very sad, very sad. Sorry to go down that road. I just wanted to give him his proper condolences, and we're going to do something for him this week. All right. Here's Brandon. I'll switch it up here. I don't want to stay on that too long. I do want to talk about the game a little bit more, but I just wanted to put that out there to the great people of JAKIB Nation so you guys knew. When we canceled the show, many say, why did you cancel the show? What's going on? Is it you? And I didn't want to give too much out of just respect for Pat, because he wasn't super, he was a man that had a great sense of pride. And anybody that knows men, I think sometimes I have a great sense of pride. Maybe sometimes, could be a fault of mine. But I think sometimes when you have that, you don't have that, you don't want people to see that type of weakness. You don't want people to know, and Pat was never super open about it. He was never the guy that was going on social media. I'm fighting cancer. Can I get help? He was never that guy, and out of respect for him, I never wanted to be the person up here and saying, hey, so I've always kind of not avoided it, but I didn't want to go somewhere where I didn't think Pat wanted me to go without him explicitly asking me, so rest in peace to Pat, man. Rest in peace. Very sad. Very sad. Here's Brandon. What's up, Brandon? Fielding a punt on the 1 yard line is insane. And Saquon dancing and slipping, no run game, everything that went wrong did. Agreed. Again, we can bitch about the fumble, which I will. Why are you fielding a punt at the 2 yard line? I don't Brandon. Leave the fumble out of it for a second. Why? Bro, you're Xavier Gibson. All right? You're not the greatest return man of all time. Regardless of what type of confidence you might have in yourself, you are a part of a team. And fielding a punt at the 2 yard line makes zero sense in any world. Let the fucking ball bounce into the end zone. By the way, he didn't even need a fair catch, which is how they wouldn't have downed the ball. It's not like Cowboys were right there and they could have downed it at the 1. Let the ball bounce into the end zone. I just that pissed me off way more than him fumbling it. It really did. Why are you catching them? Why? Let the ball go through the end zone. That pissed me off far more than the fumble did. Did the fumble suck? And did who was in here who brought the point about the field? Gambling baby, you had a good point about the field position. You obviously flipped the field there, no doubt about it. But let the fucking ball go, man. Come on, brother. Brandon, thanks for another super chat. Brandon, if you meant to put a comment here, you don't have to super, just drop a comment. I'll pull it up. All right. You can just put up the comment. I'll read it, my friend. Agreed, catch. Bad coaching. What? Michael Clay, are you not telling him if the ball's inside the 5 fucking yard line, bounce the ball, let the ball go? I think it should be inside the 10 yard line, let the ball go. John was saying that. That used to be the old school logic. Put your heels on the 10 yard line, and if the ball's going over your head, you let the ball go over your head. Is nobody coaching? Catch, is nobody telling him that? Guys, John will never do it because he for some reason, he just never wants to blame coaches. At some point, we're all going to need to have a conversation about what coaching is going on to prepare this team week in and week out. 14 penalties this week. They have like 75 plus penalties on the year. You're fielding punts at the 2 fucking yard line. Okay. Did Michael Clay not tell him, yo, dude, no need to field a punt inside there, especially in a close game in the second half? That was awful. It was pitiful, completely and utterly pitiful. Let me check if Brandon followed up because he sent a $5 chat, but he had no comment attached to it. Iceberg says, Xander, are y'all paying CeeDee Lamb? That's a fair question. I don't know what the hell happened to that guy. He can't catch the ball versus the Eagles. No detailed. Yeah, tough detailed together, right, Vitality? What the hell is up with that? That's coaching. Brandon says, this game reminds me of Washington last year. Let's see how this team responds. And Vic had them boys rolling until Reed went down. I agree. But the defense gave up a boatload of yards. Now, when your offense, let me just read something to you. And I get it. The defense gave up a boatload of yards. And I'm not about to sit here and say that they did nothing wrong. But let me just ask you something. And penalties are a part of this. So I don't say this to point blame at one person or another. The Eagles started the game. They had 3 straight drives and 3 straight touchdowns. The offense looked, dare I say, surgical for a second. Hurts was throwing the ball. The ball was coming out on time and on target. A.J. Brown was involved. This is why I don't like blaming A.J. Roll Philly, I appreciate your point about him getting covered on 3rd and 2, but A.J. was right. We built a 21-point lead by using A.J. Brown. Nothing about the game yesterday proved that A.J. Brown was wrong about a single thing, okay? This game, you have 3 straight drives of touchdowns. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I remember it. After the 3 straight touchdowns, 3 plays minus 2 yards, punt. That's 1 drive. 1 play, 1 yard, end of half. Let's discard that. Didn't even try to get into field goal range. Maybe you could have argued they should have went for the field goal. 3 plays, 3 yards, punt. 6 plays, 18 yards, punt. 3 plays, 7 yards, punt. 7 plays, 30 yards, missed field goal. 6 plays, 33 yards, fumble. 5 plays, 17 yards, punt. That's 7 drives and really 8 drives, including the final play at the end of the half, where the offense went inept for whatever reason. Penalties, lack of run game, bad coaching, quarterback, whatever you want to blame it on. Like that's tough on a defense, bro. That is tough on a defense going up against an offense that can move the football. Bryce, I completely agree. Penalties negated multiple important drives, 100%. Very, very bad timing on a lot of those penalties. Brutal, I would say. Brutal, I would say. Here's soccer. They love their inside zone runs. They sure do. I don't really know why either. They don't work. Saquon does not look like a runner in between the tackles this year. He can't run in between the tackles. He does not go to the hole. He dances. He looks. He's waiting for the hole to look like it did last year. They're never going to look like they did last year. It was a historic run game last year, a historic offensive line last year. Dude, hit the fucking hole and get 4 yards. You're a fucking running back. You're not a skill position. You're not a wideout. Stop dancing. Put your fucking shoulder down and run somebody over and get 3 yards. Like, dude, Saquon, you're playing too cute, bro. You're playing way too cute. I don't know if he wants to not get injured. This is my point. I don't give a shit about the whole Zeal. Put your fucking shoulder down and stop dancing. Put your shoulder down and run somebody over. You're a 260-pound running back. What, are you afraid of contact now, Zeal? I mean, come on, man. How much does Saquon Barkley weigh? 234 pounds. Put his shoulder down and run somebody over. Stop dancing around everybody. Only dancing I see is to avoid another. All right, well, stop fucking dancing because it's not working. And try running them over. The dancing is stupid. And Zeal, I know you're a Penn State guy. It's a cop-out. He's a ballerina back there. Hit the fucking hole. Go rewatch the game. Do you think that Javonte Williams had big holes? Welcome to the NFL. Holes aren't big, man. Get upfield. He's not getting upfield. He's not. Here's Pumper. Caleb Williams is going to slay our Eagles. Nail polish Williams. Book it, Xander. It's going to be a drag show post-game. I don't think so, Pump. And yes, by the way, I just saw somebody ask. We absolutely 100% will have a post-game show and a pre-game show and a halftime show for the game on Friday. Okay? I'm not curing cancer here, folks. We're covering football. If it were up to me, I'd be working on Thanksgiving. In fact, I probably will do a show on Thanksgiving. Oh, Primo, cry me a river. Here's Pump again. I know why Jalen said trust the preparation. He meant his preparation AH. Got hemorrhoids. Actually, his play is so unpleasant, it feels like we have it. Here's Pump again. You have to lay some of those offensive penalties on Jalen Hurts. He seems not to have his command to line of scrimmage. Those are legal formations he can correct. Pump, did you hear A.J. Brown after the game? Did you hear A.J. Brown after the game about his penalty? He said, I got to hear him better, and then he corrected himself. I got to know the count there. Thought that maybe it was a Freudian slip in a way. Here's tea time. So we scripted plays to get AJ involved. After the scripted plays, AJ had what? 2 catches, but John won't call it. Exactly right. Tea time. I agree 100%. All the people in here, oh, see what happens you throw the ball to AJ Brown. I saw that like on Twitter like 10 times. Are you kidding me? He had a 21-point lead. The offense looked the best it did all year in the first 3 drives. AJ was right. They clammed up. They started playing more conservative. They couldn't get the running game going to help them when they had the lead. They stopped going to A.J. Brown. You know, one other problem, too, I got to bring this up. I can't help it. It's all I see. It's amazing that I went through a whole post-game show and an entire Birds 365, and I didn't bring this up. Shame on me. Shame on me. All right? Shame on me. It's all I see. Does anybody else see this? Play clock's ticking. Play clock's ticking. Play clock's ticking. 15 seconds. Hurts finally gets the play in his ear on the thing. He goes to the huddle. 10 seconds, the huddle breaks. Comes up to the line of scrimmage. He calls out the initial pre-snap read, and boom, they got to hike the ball instantly. Does that have anything to do with these pre-snap penalties? I mean, the operations on this team offensively are fucking awful. Like, it's almost like, is it Patullo and Nick not getting the plays in? Are they purposely not getting the plays in because they don't want Hurts to change it at the line of scrimmage? Why are you not getting a play in? Every fucking play. I'm telling you, it's every play. Go rewatch the game. Every play. The clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. 15 seconds. All right. Hurts has the play finally. Like, dude, speed this shit up. Speed this shit up. How are you going to get everybody lined up? You know, we all want Jalen to call stuff out pre-snap. Get us into the right play. How are you going to do that with no time? How are you going to get players lined up properly with no time? How are you going to know the snap counts with no time? Everything is rushed. And here's the other part of that people leave out, which is brutal. Do you understand how much easier it is for a defensive line to get pressure and get off the ball and get off quickly when the ball is snapped, when they know when it's going to be hiked? Guys, when there's 1 second left on the play clock, you know when the ball is going to be hiked. There's no 1-2 second delay. There's no trying to switch things up so the defensive line has to guess or you can put them on their heels. There's none of that. The ball is hiked with a couple seconds left on the play clock every fucking time. Defensive line's getting off easy. Major pressure. Major pressure. Making life harder on the offensive line. Making life harder on Saquon Barkley. Making life harder on Jalen Hurts. Making life harder on the wide receivers. The operations of this football team are fucking horrendous. They're horrendous. I can't believe I didn't bring that up to John. I got to put this here so I bring this up tomorrow. I don't understand. I don't understand how you messed that up so much. It almost feels like it's intentional. I'm not even kidding you. It almost feels like it's intentional. It literally feels like it's intentional sometimes. I mean, how fucking big is this play sheet? It doesn't look very big. Here's Philly Gridiron. What's up, dude? JAKIB Sports, I have a question. How is it players can talk about players but not coaches, or is it just me? How is it the players can talk about players but not coaches? Well, players believe it's, players believe it's players first. I think that's what you're asking. I'm not really sure. I don't know. I don't understand the way you worded this. How is it players can talk about players? What do you mean players can talk about players? But coaches, but not coaches. Yeah, and by the way, Landon Dickerson yesterday, he tipped a hand on something that he did not want to tip the hand on. You're not ready for a 5-man front? Like Pumper pointed out, Tom Brady talked about it fucking the whole pregame show. 5 minutes before the game, Tom Brady comes on. It's the first thing he says. Dallas running more 5-man fronts with Quinnen Williams. They got Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark, and Osa. I mean, Jalen Hurts gave the best explanation, as John pointed out in the opening segment. Jalen Hurts is like, yeah, well, their best players are interior D linemen. Their edge rushers aren't as good. They want them all on the field. It's like, we're not ready for this? You didn't game plan for this? You didn't prep for this to any degree to where Landon Dickerson is saying we weren't ready for a 5-man front? I mean, that's just brutal preparation. Do these are the coaches doing what they're supposed to be doing? Did Kevin Patullo put on the film from Dallas versus the Raiders on Monday night? I don't understand. I don't understand. I truly don't understand. Eagles coaches are immune from criticism, especially from media. Oh, 100%. It's not just John, by the way, Catch. It's every media member. None of them want to blame coaching. None of them want to blame coaching. KP doesn't know what he's doing. He's stumbling on the mic. I don't disagree. Here's Murda Grown, I think. They made Coop look like Jason Sehorn. Jason Sehorn, didn't he? Was he an all-pro? Am I wrong on that? No, he was a Pro Bowler, right? He was. He was a second-team all-pro in 1997. No, 1998. And first team in 97. So, I don't know. I don't know if that's the comp you meant. Just because he's a white guy? Kemsky's frying Sirianni. Good to know there's somebody left. Kemsky's good. Kemsky stopped wanting to come on those Special K. So I'd get him on and talk about it, but he won't come on anymore. I think it's more of a Philly voice thing. They don't like JAKIB very much. None of the big legacy outlets like JAKIB Sports. They all felt very threatened by us, and they've now nixed everybody from coming on. Whatever. I don't really care. We'll keep rolling and keep growing and keep building and keep doing what we got to do to be successful. Here's Bob Brown. Zander, it feels like KP and Nick are trying to figure out what play to call as the team is walking back to the huddle. There's zero flow to the scheme. One play should set up the next. Agreed, Bob, but they don't have that, dude. This is where first-year play callers are no good for this team. Again, I'm not the type of guy that will put it all on Kevin Patullo. I'm not. That's not my style. I don't think it's all coaching. I think you got to talk about players first. But when you have a first-year play caller, there's a knack to knowing how to call plays. There's an art to it, as Nick Foles alluded to this week on a podcast. He doesn't have that yet. He doesn't have a feel for the game. He doesn't have a feel for the moment. He doesn't have a feel for where to run certain plays, how to push on certain things, when something is working, when to double down on it, when something is not working, when to bail on it. He doesn't have a feel for it. He doesn't. I watch it with my own eyes every week. Here's Curtis. Zander, I'm a little dumbfounded by J-Mac's confidence. Anyone think we are fixing this laundry list on offense by Friday? And Carter, Ringo, and Sydney out there? Vic is not a wizard. I agree. Curtis, I am way more on your page than I am on John's. John's talking about the Bears like we're going to blow them out. Maybe the defense can shut that offense down. Because I don't think that offense is all that good. But they got playmakers everywhere. So, Curtis, I'm way more on your boat than I am on John's. Here's tea time. We have yet to see a mic'd up of KP calling a play, LOL. I want to see it. It seems like all of our big plays are audibles or checks. I don't disagree. By the way, the QB draw where Hurts called his number in the red zone and took it for a touchdown, that was an audible. Hurts checked into that. Houston says, 4 problems. 1, quarterback limitations. 2, Patullo is calling plays on a Hallmark mini card. 3, he has no feel for calling the plays. And 4, we don't run screens. Well, those are 4 offensive problems that I think leave out the biggest offensive problem, which is the running game. Okay. I said there was many weeks, and I'll correct myself on something and admit where I was wrong on something. Many weeks where I was saying the offense doesn't throw the ball well for the second straight year, and it's clammed up the run game. Well, you threw the ball great in the first quarter and the second quarter yesterday, and the running game never opened. It never opened. So, is it just Saquon's having a bad year? Is it just the offensive line's having a bad year? Maybe. Maybe it is. And Houston, I did think I saw a couple screens yesterday. I like the little RPO they do with Goddard where they roll Goddard out. Jalen, kind of pulls it, gives it to Goddard in the flat. That seems to be a play that's been working well for him. But here's Philly Gridiron. What's up, Philly? JAKIB Sports. It feels like it goes great year, bad year, great year, bad year. Steichen good, Brian bad, Kellen good, KP bad. Hiring within doesn't work. Kellen gets too much credit for last year. He deserves some credit, but he gets too much. You got to remember, my friend, Gridiron, at this very point last year, we were bitching about the offense. Remember, it wasn't until after week 12 last year, week 12 and on, where Saquon Barkley really went insane. He averaged like 160, 170 yards a game rushing from week 12 on last year. In fact, let me pull up the stat for you. Let me pull it up so I'm accurate. Give me a sec. I'll get it. Damn it. I can't find it, man. I think it was Berman put it out. Saquon wasn't even the leading rusher in the NFL, by the way, at week 12 last year. Wasn't even the top rusher in the NFL. Damn it, I can't find it. I'm sorry. But exactly, he wasn't even the leading rusher going into week 12. He went off after week 12. So, my point is that we had all these offensive problems. We didn't throw the ball well last year. We had an awful passing game last year. Terrible. It was like bottom of the league. I think it was like 30th, 29th or something. Hurts threw for 2,900 yards in the year. So we didn't have a good offense. We didn't have a good passing game. The running game, while it was good, but up to week 12, it wasn't that good. You had A.J. Brown reading books on the sideline. If you remember, Gridiron, we've rewritten history because we won the Super Bowl. A lot of people were very upset with the offense last year. Very upset. Now, that's not to say Kellen Moore didn't do a good job situationally. He wasn't better at certain things. I agree with that. I'm just saying. I don't think you can say Kellen good. I mean, it was okay. Passing game, he was brought in to fix the passing game, and he never did it. In fact, they abandoned it after week 4, when we had 7 turnovers in the first 4 weeks. So I just don't like to rewrite that history. I mean, you got to, Rolf, that's the optimistic way to look at it. He says, so you're telling me Barkley's about to start going off? I hope, man. Is it Philly? Good point. It's getting cold and we can't run. Here's Alexander Harris. What's up, brother? We talked about margin of error with this team a lot, and I was on Twitter saying to people, what happens when the defense doesn't have a good game and we need the offense to win it? Defense is gassed because of all the 3 and outs. I agree 100%. All right. Xander, we passed the ball yesterday with no ends, too. Yeah, they passed the ball well in the first half yesterday. Brian Johnson over Kellen Moore. Roll Philly. It's funny. I actually agree with that. Many won't, but I do. Gambling says also, last year we were the 31st ranked team. Aren't getting to the line. It's been a problem. It is. Here's Rashid. What's up, Rashid? If the Eagles don't have those offensive penalties and Saquon doesn't fumble, we're talking about this offense in a different light. I agree. The penalty is bigger than the fumble, in my opinion. Good point, Catch. Gas defense, injuries more likely. It's a good point. A lot of injuries yesterday in the fourth quarter or late in the second half. Here's Roll. Z, Shannon Sharp always says it's about coaching. You either coach it or you allow it. Is it possible the coaches are the arrogant ones? It's absolutely possible. You heard, John, the arrogance in this organization right now is through the roof. More so than the players, our coaches give us no advantages. I don't disagree with that. HKP, I'm so with you, bro. It's a weird team. A weird-ass football team. Here's Bob Zander. Yes, KP's a rookie, but Nick is not. As the CEO, where is his guidance to his rookie employees? Where were the views of KP or Nick working with JH in the second half to stop the collapse? Fair enough, Bob. All those penalties killed us. But Reyes says the margin of error discussion is bullshit. The margin of error last night was 21 points and 2 turnovers. It's a fair point, Reyes. I agree with you. That's why I was upset with people saying, oh, look what happens. You throw the ball to A.J. Brown. I'm like, when they threw the ball to A.J. Brown, they had a 21-point lead at the snap of their fingers. They're moving the ball at ease. That wasn't on the scheme. It was on the bullshit penalties, O-line, and the trash running. I'm Reyes. I agree with that comment. Gridiron says, Xander, do you think this is on Sirianni and his ability to not be able to call plays? Who is to blame? It's coming and someone has to be accountable. Hold them all accountable, dude. You don't have to point the finger at one man. Nick, Kevin, Jalen, offensive line, Saquon, it's everybody, dude. It's football. It's football. Football is a game of fucking contact. There's a lot of context to football. It's not a solo operation. It's not a game driven by superstars. It's a game. It's a team game in the truest sense of the word. It's one of the things I love the most about it. You could play like Superman. If your other 21 other starters on your team don't do their job well on a given day, you could lose a game. That's football. That's football. Nick, Kevin, Jalen, put them all in there. Put them all in there. Offensive line, Saquon, Jeff Stoutland, put them all in there, dude. Xander, don't let these Jalenites off the hook. I don't let Jalen off the hook. You're the quarterback of the team. Like my boy HKP said. Hey, by the way, HKP delivered a masterclass on the post-game show last night where he's like, I don't understand why this fan base talks about quarterback like he's this elite player. And then when we need him to be elite and overcome the odds and make a play when things aren't working, no one expects him to do it. And then we blame everybody else but the quarterback. We have 40 fucking minutes without a point. Go get us a fucking point. Are you an elite quarterback or not? It's a fair point by HKP. But I put it on everybody. I do. I'm not absolving anybody. I'm certainly not absolving the quarterback. I'm certainly not absolving the coaching. I'm not absolving anybody. And Stoutland, gambling baby. I hate to say this because of the lore that he's created and the Hall of Fame resume that he's created. Jeff Stoutland, at what point is he going to get blamed? He's the run game coordinator and the offensive line coach. The run game blows. The offensive line blows. I mean, what the fuck? I hope we haven't got. That's my fear right now. I by the way, I'm more in the middle here. I'm not going to sell on the season because we lost in week 12. I'm not. I get it. Does it bring to light that there's bigger problems on this team? I think absolutely. But if you think I'm going to sit here and say the Eagles are fucking cooked because they lost in week 12, I think that's a stupid way to think about it. And I would urge every fan to not think about it that way. I don't think that's necessary. Now, do we have problems? Absolutely. But I'll remind you of this. There's 32 teams in the National Football League. Every fucking one of them has problems. Every one. Every single team has problems. So don't act like we're the only team. We do have problems, though. And we got to get rid of this arrogant mentality that, we're the Super Bowl champ, we win every game. We don't. Okay? We got problems. We got to be honest about them. The team has to be honest about them. They got to address them. They got to continue working to get better each and every week. The coaches have to hold up their end of the bargain. They got to prepare their players better. They got to get the play calls in better so you set your offense up for better success. The quarterback has to convert. He's got to be more aware of a 3rd and 2, not to take a sack there. Everybody's got to be better. Everybody. I'm not of the belief that anybody should be off the hook. Tea time, what's up, man? Appreciate your chat. Got a fucking itch on my arm driving me fucking crazy, man. Gosh. Itch is going nuts. I got this quarter zip on. I can't get to it. Golly. Tea time says we never had a problem getting a call in until this season. Jordan, I don't know. I think they had this problem last year, didn't they, Tea time? You'd have to double check for me. I don't exactly know. I thought it was a problem last year, too. Jordan Malata said something this season. Also, run game look good every time Tank runs. Yeah, it's such a small sample size, bro. This is an interesting point here by Catch. This is a very interesting point, okay? And I think this is a lot more of a layered conversation than people think. Nick Sirianni comes to the podium, and he literally, every single time he speaks, gives us a load of bullshit, okay? He gives us a load of bullshit. And many people, and sometimes me too, many people say, it's all right. He doesn't want to give anything to the media. I agree. All right? Sometimes you don't want to give anything to the media. But he's never honest. And you got to wonder if that's permeated now through the team. Maybe they're not honest with themselves about where their deficiencies are. Are they not on? I always compare it to Nick Saban. And Catch, Nick Saban hated the media. He said it all the time. I hate you guys. You're rat poison. I hate you. I don't want to give shit to you. But Nick Saban wasn't dishonest. He was never dishonest. When he felt like his team was off, he said it. When he felt like the media sucked, he said it. He might not have given much, but he was honest. Nick Sirianni is dishonest, top to bottom, in everything. He's dishonest in his answers. He's dishonest in the way he approaches things. He's dishonest with the media. He's dishonest on the radio. He's dishonest at every step. And you have to wonder if that mentality has permeated through the team. Somebody said it last night on the post-game show. The team has taken on the mentality of the head coach. The other thing I think that's weird about Sirianni is he gives mixed signals. It's like sometimes he's this aggressive coach that goes for it in moments you probably shouldn't go for it. And sometimes he's this conservative pussyball shit. The fucking team doesn't even know their own identity because the coach doesn't know it. I hate liars. This is why I always tell you guys. And you know how much shit I took last week from the Eagles fan base because I was hard on this team because they won a game and everyone went, oh my God, Zander, shut the fuck up. It's the greatest time in Eagle history. We're 8-2. Shut up. You're a fucking hater. You're not a real Eagle fan. You're this. You're racist. You're that. Fuck you. At least I'm fucking honest. You know what I think every fucking week. Now, that doesn't mean I'm right all the time. But at least you know what I think. I'd rather face a wolf than a wolf in sheep's clothing. Every time. Every time. Being dishonest is a stupid and shitty way to live in any realm. I don't really care if you're the head coach of a team and you're trying to avoid the media, or you hate the media, or you don't want to give them anything, or you think they're rat poison. I wonder if this is a way bigger problem than we're thinking. Well, I can promise you guys that. I'll always be fucking honest. Now, you guys might hate me for it. Some of you do hate me for it. In fact, I had people lashing out at me last week. Oh my God, no, Dad, my dad is a fake fan of this. Dad lost his Philly card. Somebody said that to me. You know, as a resident of Philly, you lost your Philly card. I'm like, who the fuck are you? The arbiter of what makes a Philadelphia citizen? Fuck you, bitch. I'll be honest. Doesn't mean I'm right. At least I'll be honest. Marcus, I'm not sure what you're saying there. Here's Denny. Can't blame the D. How many games can you expect a D to bail the team out when the offense constantly goes 3 and out and then can't put up points? I agree. Defense gave up a lot, but I love when Z starts crashing. I don't think I'm crashing out. I think I'm just, addressing something that I think is actually a problem that's brought up by Catch. That's a good point about, you don't look, I'm okay with you not wanting to give a lot to the media. That to me makes sense. Like, I get it. Selfishly, I'd like them to give a lot because it gives us stuff to talk about. Practically, I understand, and realistically, I understand why. But lying is a different thing. Not giving a lot is different than lying. Nick lies through his teeth every week. He lies through his fucking teeth every week. And now there's this sense of arrogance that has permeated through the organization. Whether they've had success or not, I don't really care. I don't think that's a good way to go about it. In fact, maybe sometimes I got to check myself. Don't get arrogant, Zander. Don't be, stay where your feet are. Be grounded, I try and say that to myself all the time. Lord Smack says, does he owe the media the truth? Does he always fucking team the truth, Lord? That's my question. No, he doesn't owe the media shit. Are you listening to what I'm saying? Are you listening to what I'm saying? I just said, is it permeating through the team? Has it permeated through the team where they're dishonest about where their faults are and their shortcomings are and where they need to work on things? Paparo says Nick has to protect his players. Yeah, but sometimes you do them a disservice if you protect them to the extent where they think everything is sunshine and rainbows. That's what I mean. Nick Saban was the best at this. I'll protect my players from you assholes, but I won't protect them from me. And discipline and being honest about where they're coming up short and what they have to do to be better, what they have to do to play to the standard that we've set in the organization. Nick talks about this standard. If a standard is set, but you're not enforcing the things necessary to achieve that standard, then what the hell does the standard mean? It's a fake standard. It doesn't matter. It's pointless. It's meaningless. A standard is nothing without the fulfilling of it and without the expectation that you're going to meet and do what it takes and hold yourself accountable if you come up short when it comes to meeting that standard. You do your own team a disservice. You don't protect your team. You fail your team when you do it that way. You fail your team. Underdog says Sirianni isn't allowed to be honest. He'd be fired. He's an employee. Say you bossed up. Burns and Smithers, however, are liars. Next, yet another Halloween mask worn by both. This is why they're hired. Yeah, well then shame on the organization. Shame on the organization. If you got to lie yourself through things because you don't have enough confidence in the way you do business and the way you handle yourself, then you're a phony to begin with, underdog. You're a fucking phony, not you, but in general. You're a fucking phony to begin. If you can't put your feet in the ground and say, this is who I am, this is why I am that person, this is why we do things, and this is what we believe will achieve success. If you don't have enough confidence to stick in that conviction, then you're a phony to begin with. You don't even believe your own bullshit, if that's the case. If he's not allowed to be honest, then what are we doing here then? What are we doing here? Facts, roll Philly. I'm not saying you're wrong. Dougie P did that and got fired. That's why I respect Doug to this day. I don't give a rat's ass about 2020, which, by the way, was another scapegoat for this organization. How depleted was the 2020 team? Carson Wentz was throwing the fucking traffic cones. Travis Fulgham and Jalen Reagor and shit. Fired Doug Peterson because he wanted to hire his own coach. I don't give a shit if the coach was a bad hire. At least he stood on business. At least he had a fucking backbone. Next, Sirianni's a stooge. He's a total stooge. He really is. I respect the success. I do. But, geez, now you guys got me fired up. Now I don't even want to be fired up on this shit today. Corporate Pump says, look at Zander, inspirational. I'm not even trying to be inspirational. I'm just kind of trying to respond to what the comments are. This Zander Time masterclass is incredible. You got me motivated. I'm proud to be American where at least I know I'm free. Me too, Pump. Me too. And I'm proud to be an American where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me. And I proudly stand up next to you and defend her still today. Let's go, Pump. Let's go, Pump. Nah, seriously though, man. All seriousness, man. You gotta be. I hope he's more honest behind the scenes than he is. To the media. I really do. Because I don't think that fosters a good environment for a team, for anybody, for anybody, in my opinion. I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think it's a good way to manage your business, but it is what it is. We'll keep rolling. Here's Catch. Catch, thanks for the super, bro. Appreciate you, man. Hard to be sure how much Sirianni's success and how much Howie hooked him up. It's look, Catch. I know most people don't want to have that conversation, Catch, but you got to have it. You got to have it. And I agree. I agree. Top to bottom catch. How much of this is Sirianni coming to a perfect organization? M. Reyes, let me ask you a question because I get it. This is what the Sirianni fanboys will say. Getting hooked up for 5 years straight. I think that's fair. M. Reyes, how long have you been an Eagle fan? How long have you been an Eagle fan? This is the message to all the fans who've been a fan for 20 plus years, 30 plus years, 40 plus years in some cases, 50 plus years maybe in some cases for all the people listening to who are older. Over 20 years. M. Reyes, is this the best collection of talent the Eagles have ever had in your fandom? Is this the best collection of talent this team has ever had in your fandom? Bob, good question for you, Bob. Is this the best collection of talent the team has ever had? Bob says yes, it is. Now, I'm not going to use that and completely take it all off of Nick. All right, I won't. I'll give him some credit. But I'm just saying, you have to factor that in as context. It's the best collection of talent they've ever had. It's part of the story. It's part of the story. You know, it's part of the story. So Howard checks in. Howard agrees. Big Mike agrees. Dude says it is. Vitality says it is. Underdog says yes, but it's the worst at quarterback. I don't know about worst. Come on, Underdog. That's a little harsh. You can't watch coaches. They're terrible. I only watch them because I have to. Because I have to. And even then, I don't even feel like I get anything out of it. MJ says, been watching since Cunningham was our quarterback. Best talent I've ever seen. Can you imagine Randall with this talent? Holy shit. I've only lived through the highlights of the Randall era. And I read about it in the book that Ray Dininger wrote, the Eagles Encyclopedia. I wish I would have got to see Randall in person. I wish. I was born in 98, so, you know, I don't really remember watching Eagles football till I was about 10 years old. I remember the Super Bowl when I was 6, but I don't remember the season. I remember just the Super Bowl. I remember going to the Super Bowl party at my aunt's house. I remember everything that came with that. I remember them losing the game. I remember Donovan. I remember him puking. I remember that. But that's probably one of the only – I remember some of the early 2000s, but not a whole lot. I mean, I was born in 98, so I was 6 years old in 04. I was 10 years old in 2008. 2008 from on is when I really remember this football team. You know, I remember the Vic era very well. I remember the end of the McNabb era. I remember a lot of that. So it's tough for me to, you know, that's why I like to go to my older people in the chat who can give me more context. I don't act like I know it all. I don't know it all. You know, I like to get help from people who've watched this game longer than I have. Been an Eagles fan since Jaws, Montgomery, and Carmichael. Hell of a unit there. Xander, if this team is another collapse, you think they fire Sirianni? Maybe. Probably not. You can't fire him 1 year off a Super Bowl, can you? You're not going to fire him 1 year off a Super Bowl. There are 8-3. Now, guys, this is my problem with the collapse talk. Look, do I think that there's no problems in the Eagles? No, I don't. I think there's problems. Am I going to be real about them with you on the show? I 100% am. Do I think we're about to lose out? No. Stop it. I don't think we're about to lose out. I really don't. Vic era was very fun. In fact, that was my favorite era before. That was, it was one of my favorite eras. I was a big Michael Vick fan. I was very happy when they got Michael Vick. When they signed him, 2011, I think. Xander, this team needs to go back to basics. Big Mike, sometimes it feels like that's all they do is basics. But even those aren't working. Marcus says, Big Z, what the hell was that yesterday, bro? Never been so pissed. Marcus, I'm with you, man. You were acting like I was an asshole on the pregame show, though, Marcus. I don't forget. You see, this is why I keep receipts on people. This is why I keep receipts. Because all the commenters who shit on me when I say something they don't want to hear are all the same people who come back and say the same shit. Marcus, I love you. But you were on my ass last week, Marcus, because I was being tough on this team. This is why I keep receipts. Where is Marquise? Marquise Dunn, where are you? Marcus, though, I saw that shit, Marcus. I saw that shit. You can't get by me, Marcus. Oh, that's funny. It's all love, Marcus. I'm all right with it. Look, I'm not always right, my man. I say it all the time. I don't even try and always be right. I don't even want to act like that's ridiculous. You don't believe that. Nobody believes that shit. We're all always right. Bullshit. Nobody's always right. Nobody. Me, John, Cilio, every person listening to this show right now, Sirianni, Hurts, none of them. Nobody's always right. We're human beings. We're not always right. I always say, my only promise to you is that I'll be honest with myself. I'll be honest with you about how I feel, about what my perspective is. Doesn't mean it's right, but I'll always be honest so you know where I stand. Z, I've gotten on you, but I agree with you on a lot of things. Steven, that's all right, brother. You don't have to agree with me on everything. I'm good with that. Thanks for joining last night, Steven. It was great having you on, brother. Marcus said Xander. That's right. So did Pumper said that crap. Because I said Dak's having a good year. Dak's having a good year. I don't really care. If you don't think that makes me a closet Cowboy fan, then fucking so be it. If you think you're never wrong, you turn into Sirianni. That's classic. My ex was always right. Just ask her, I'm sure. That's a common theme. McMullen thinks he's always right too. But you got to respect it. You got to respect it. It is what it is. All right, I'm out of here, man. Good show. Good show. Tough loss. I'm going to get some post up. Good post-game show last night. Appreciate everybody tuning in, listening, locking in. We had good numbers all throughout. I do appreciate everybody being here, as always. Make sure you guys hit that like button. All right, still got 400 plus watching and plenty watching on the other platforms as well. So hit that like button for us. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. All right. And I do appreciate, man. Appreciate all the super chats. Catch, thanks for the big super. Yo, Pump. Thank you, bro. A lot of super chats from you today, man. I do appreciate it, as always. Alexander Harris, thank you, man. Philly Gridiron, thank you, brother, for the super chats. Tea Time, thank you for the support of the channel. Houston, thank you, my guy. I appreciate you, brother. All right. Brandon Lynch, thank you, bro. Roll Philly, thank you, my man. Hope you enjoyed the game yesterday. I know we lost, but it's pretty cool for you to be at the game, as always. It's a beautiful stadium down there. So, Curtis says, I'll answer this question and get out of here. Xander, what outcome would you consider a collapse? I think wild card loss. Wild card loss. That to me would be a collapse. If you lose in the first round in the wild card, that would be horrendous. This team is capable of so much more than that. You get to the division on the comp, like, look, if you lose, let's just say they went to the conference championship, like, I know it will suck if we lose, but you can't say that's a failure. Like you're one of the last 4 teams remaining in the NFL. You don't win every year, guys. Look at Tom Brady. You don't win every year, so it'd be hard for me to say if they got past, got to that point, it would be a failure. I mean, you would want them to go the distance, but it would be hard to say what a failure of a year, I don't think that's fair. So that's how I look at it. But all right, man. Love all you guys. Hit that like button. Appreciate everybody for being here. Not as many haters today because we lost the game, I guess. So, my criticisms were more warranted for many people. I'll always try and give you my honest take. Love all you guys. Hit that like button for me on the way out. Hopefully we're up to 250, at least 300 likes on the show. I'll see you next time, everybody.
You've been listening to Birds 365, the destination for the passionate Eagles football fan who bleeds green. If it's Eagles football, we're talking about it. Debate inside the locker room and guests that are some of the greatest football minds from around the region. We hope you enjoyed the show. We know we had a blast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hook up with us on social media at JAKIB Sports. See you next time on Birds 365.